Hello everyone, welcome to the day one of the semi-finals of the Chess 24 India coverage of the Goldmoney Asian Rapid, which is part of the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour. Welcome, Vidit. You can stop laughing and you can start speaking. And of course, we also have International Master Soumya and Women Grandmaster Keti without our hearings this time.
Yes. Hello, guys. Oh, sorry. Soumya. I'm so excited to be here that I'm not even allowing anyone to speak, and I feel a bit bad. But we have amazing games coming up, and I hope that we're gonna have fun time together.
Absolutely. And I hope today nobody will ask for background music. That's my big hope from the chat. Of course.
So we have two exciting semifinals today, and we have kickoff in one of them. Artemiev has started against Ding Lijian. No prizes for guessing what Artemiev's first move was. This is something we have seen him do so often here. He starts with the ready, the knight f3, d5, g3, and now do you think black goes g6?
Ding Lijian, I think Ding Lijian's style is to play g6 for sure. But before that, I have a question for all of you. Let's make predictions, okay? So you predict, and then I ask the chat for the prediction. Let's see who is right at the end of it. Okay? So ladies first.
Sure.
Keti and Soumya.
In this game, I would bet for Artemiev, and the other game for Carlsen.
Score?
Very close.
That's a tough question.
Very close.
Okay. Soumya, what about you?
So I think I'm looking forward to a Magnus versus Ding Lijian final more than anyone else. So I would say Magnus today Magnus will win 2.5, 1.5 against Lev, and Ding will maybe make a draw today, and maybe tomorrow they will fight.
Oh my God, this is such detailed predictions, 2.5, 1.5. Do you also want to say how many moves the games will last?
But VD asked no score, so I was prepared prophylaxis.
I mean, VD asks us a lot of things. We cannot answer all those things.
No, but it's always fun. Let's make some predictions.
Yeah, Srinath, you can also throw in your 2 cents.
Yeah, I think Magnus against Artemiev I'm looking forward towards a Magnus Artemiev final. And this course is very tricky, yeah. I think I'm guessing Artemiev Ding will go down to the tiebreakers, and Magnus should be able to beat Levon in the regulation time. Either 1.5, probably 1.5 in 2 sets.
Guys,
nobody's picking Levon, yeah?
I checked the scores between these 4 players, and there are so few games between Ding Lijian and Artemiev. They played only 4 games, including this tournament, and the other 3 games were played in mind games, Blitz and Rapid. And so far, Artemiev was leading this score with just 1 point, and they had 2 draws. But at this tournament, Ding Lijian managed to win. So it's like 2-2 now.
Wow, professional commentator there with the scores.
Well, at least one of us has to be.
Yes, that's why we bring in.
As long as I'm there, I don't think there'll be any professionalism here, so you can be assured of that.
But we want your predictions also. Like, you have to answer your own questions.
Right. So I feel bad that nobody picked Levon. So I will pick Levon now to at least tie the match. Okay, today 2-2. Okay, and then we'll see tomorrow whatever happens. But at least today I go with Levon that it'll at least make a 2-2 match. And Artemiev Ding Lijian, I think I would pick 2-2 for both the matches today. Let's see. Just trying to be different.
All right. Have somebody noticed that while we were predicting and talking, Sri was doing his job, talking with the Arabs, with the chat? What's happening here?
Yes, I mean, no matter what goes on, the chat should get their dose of chess. That's what I believe in when I commentate. So, as long as I have control of the arrows, they'll always get some chess action, either through voice or through visual. But chat, did any of you understand what are the arrows drawn? Can you decode it? Those who are watching intently, can any of you decode it, or is it like Hikaru's arrows? I'm also learning how to stream. So Streamer 101, from what I've seen on streams, one of the first things you need to do is to draw a lot of arrows which people cannot understand. This is what I understood from watching pro streamers.
Yeah, it makes you look cool, and it makes chess very complicated game.
Yeah, it makes chess look like mathematics. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, chat, are you able to understand? Like, who's able to decode the arrows? Is any one person able to decode the arrows? If you're not able to, then we'll move on to the panel.
But
I
you guys
also voted for
here...
Carlsen with 2 accounts, as always. In the poll we have on.
Oh, by the way, this 95 move is kind of a mistake. I remember there was a game of Gukesh in this line with white he played. So the game, I think, went something like, instead of 95, maybe something like F5.
Yes,
but I don't think it was. I don't think it was exactly this position. I think instead of 92, he played Rook C1 or something like this, or Rook E1.
Oh,
yeah, and
okay.
then Rook E1, F5, Knight D6, Bishop D6, takes. And then he played Knight D2 here, something like this. And then he went with Knight C4. So the thing is, you give up a pawn, but you get very good control of the E5 square. And in general, like, you have a lot of compensation. Yeah, your pieces are very active comparatively, and it's harder to play with black. In fact, in this tournament, Peter Swidler lost a game with white against Salem Saleh. He defeated with black pieces in Champions Chess Tour.
In this exact opening?
Yeah, exact opening.
Wow.
I think it was on the first day.
Do you think they are checking the games right after the end of the rounds? Like they know what's happening?
I definitely check the games to know what's happening. Otherwise, because I'm going to play them anyways, next day. So I need to know what they were up to. But in general, it's very interesting to see, like what player is doing which opening, how are they playing? Are you the only stupid one in the tournament, or you have company? It's good to know all this stuff.
I think we have the same questions with it. That's exactly what I posted before the broadcast today as well. We have the Swidler Salem game on the screen. It went c5, rook d8, rook c1, bishop d7. Black refrained from playing f5, probably because they don't want to get into this pawn down position where there is not much activity. I think it's a very conscious thing. Black does not want to take this pawn with f5, exactly because this position which you explained is not easy to play as black. But after knight e5, the bar went up for white, and now after queen e2, a very natural move, defending the d3 pawn, the bar is back to equal. What is going on with it?
I think probably the move could be f4, could it? After knight e5, a very strong move. The point is, if knight d3, then the knight is trapped after queen c2.
Queen c2. Oh, also queen c2. Okay.
And if you move back the knight, let's say to c6 again, for example, then you have knight c4 and knight coming to d6. So maybe f4 was one of these unusual moves which could be working wonders. Maybe you have to go knight d7 here. Only move probably to attack the c5 pawn. And now white can play b4. But yeah, you cannot be sure about this, that this is good, because black has f5, g5, some counterplay.
Yeah. But f5 can still be met with knight d6,
Yeah, it's possible.
The typical.
But Artemiev played like a typical queen e2, just defend everything, keep everything together kind of move, queen e2.
And do you think f5 is now more effective considering that White does not get immediate knight c4, or maybe it's just
No,
temporary
rook
because
e1.
the rook
Yeah,
e1.
yeah. No, I'm
White
a
gets
little bit.
control of this anyway.
Oh, he played f5. I think Ding Lijian is playing a bit strange, in my opinion. This 95 stuff, and also the time difference. Yeah, you can see that he's more uncomfortable. Ding has not wasted, used 4 minutes, and Artemiev has been blitzing out the moves. And visually, when you look at it, I feel White is very comfortable. Like, I don't think anyone would pick black here unless they're like really greedy and love the pawns. But
Not even you, I guess.
yeah, I wouldn't even
Was-
pick. There's no doubt about it. I would just play rook e1, knight c4. The moves are so easy here for White.
Yeah, here time says a lot because and maybe it's Artemiev who saw that game and he was ready and he knew how to continue here to play. Is there a chance that Ding Liren is recalling the variations, or he's coming up these moves on the board right now?
I feel
No,
he's out of the
actually-
book.
Yeah, like this 95 is already a new move. So he was probably out of the book much before and was playing on intuition. Anyway, it's like a reverse Benoni, right? So like it's the same reverse Benoni setup.
It is the reverse Benoni. So I think Artemiev has a good healthy advantage, and the game is probably going
healthy
on for some
advantage
time.
is something new I've heard. Healthy advantage.
Maybe let's have a look at Aronian and Carlsen.
Yeah, talking about them, in my chat, 77% think Carlsen is going to win, and Aronian
Out of which
22.
2 votes were mine.
I quickly bring the results between these two players because they played a lot of games. In the classical chess, Carlsen beats Aronian with 18-8, and they have like 48 draws. And also in Rapid and Blitz, there is huge advantage for Carlsen against Aronian.
It's
So
amazing
that's
how
why-
many games they play against each other, right?
Yeah, well, this information includes also online chess and over the board chess, but it's still amazing. Like they know each other perfectly well.
Where do you find such information? Your sources, huh?
Contact me in private. I'll teach you some tricks.
No, also like in general, if you count the CCT itself, if they have played in even one match, then already 8 games there, no? Straight.
No, but in classical, she said 18 wins for Carlsen.
18-8. That's the result.
Yeah,
But they
and
they
48
have made,
draws.
yeah, a lot of
So
draws.
already like what, 80 games, classical games, close to that. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And I remember the first ever time they both played against each other. It was a really long time ago. Yeah, was it like 16 years ago in 2006 candidates, their first candidates match? I remember I was really young when that happened. Do you remember that, Vidit?
No, I don't feel that old yet. So in the Ding Artemiev poll, Artemiev is 49%, Ding is 51. So okay,
Come
that's
on,
a close
Soumya,
one.
Keti, go and vote for Artemiev, please. You also used
No,
to.
I already made my prediction. Now it would be so weird. Like I'm choosing Ding, but in the vote prediction.
By the way, the
Artemiev,
last
yeah.
move in Levon's game is very interesting. Bishop to d2. The idea is to put bishop on a5. Yeah, a very nice move. I think I like it. Can you show how it came? The game, how it happened, Srinath?
Yeah, so it started with the Ruy Lopez, and here Magnus played a6, which is I think clearly the second best move in recent times. Everyone going knight f6 these days. But okay, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, short castle, bishop e7, the old Ruy Lopez main line, and after rook e1, b5, bishop b3, short castle, we have this position where Black enters the Marshall gambit if he goes d5. This goes into this position where White takes this pawn, but Black gets enormous counterplay. He gets enormous compensation. These variations have been extensively well explored and a lot of lines get worked out to a very equal position or even a draw in many cases. So for this reason, White started devising many different moves at this point. Moves like a4 and h3 and all these moves which are known as the anti-martial, and d4 is one such move. And against d4, again, black can either take knight into d4 or go d6. If he goes d6, then after c3, we have this classical mainline Roy Lopez position where white has played d4 instead of h3. h3 is the other main move. It's actually the main move which prepares d4, but there are variations with d4 as well. And so d4, d6, c3, bishop g4. Now black starts playing towards the control of the d4 pawn, since white did not play h3, the d4 point more specifically. And now after bishop e3, e into d4, c into d4, knight a5. Here white usually goes bishop c2, and h3 is something I'm not too familiar with. What about you guys?
First catch a breath, Srinath. After that monologue. But I feel like because of your chessable course, you have gotten so used to explaining every single move, yeah? Like every move has a commentary. So white plays e4, removing the bishop, creating space, and then black plays e5, controlling the center, Every move you have an explanation. But yeah, this h3 is kind of rare. I think bishop c2 is also, which I'm familiar with.
Yeah, h3 is kind of rare, but is it something you are already familiar with?
No.
So can be this h3 move surprising for Carlsen, because he's down to 7 minutes and he spent a lot of time for something. Is it h3 that he spent the most of the time?
I think if we ask Anish, we'll know this for sure.
No, h3 is certainly very rare. Also, this bishop d2, bishop a5 idea is actually from Catalan, Shri. I thought you will focus on that, but you're focusing on this h3 move. Isn't it? Like the bishop d2, bishop a5 preventing c5 and the bishop on a5. Even though it's on the corner, it does such a nice job of restricting black.
And what I find is very curious of Magnus to play the Marshall against Aronian, because Levon's main opening is Marshall. I mean, at least it used to be at some point. Now he plays Berlin and Archangelsk and all kind of stuff. But very interesting to see Magnus playing Marshall against Levon. I don't think it was easily predictable that they would play this. But huge time difference, by the way. Huge right now.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, with it, since Marshall was his main opening and Berlin is his main opening now, if Magnus doesn't play Aronian's main opening, what does he have left anyway?
No, Magnus plays lots of stuff. Yeah? He plays the Sicilian and stuff. Yeah, and
but
he also plays Archangels.
In the Champions Chess Tour, what I've noticed is at least 70-80% of the Roy Lopez games go towards Berlin. And
that's when they want to make the draw. If they want to play, they don't play.
I did disclude the 15 more games when I did my statistical analysis with it. Yeah, so why I focused on h3 is because this is the move that set the direction of the game. Because if we go bishop c2, the game goes into a completely different direction with knight c4, bishop c1, this c5 and stuff. So h3 is what set the direction of the game. It got Magnus thinking, which so Aronian again putting pressure on his opponent right from the beginning with the white pieces. And after knight into b3, a into b3, we have this interesting position where black has the pair of bishops, but it is white who is putting pressure. I think maybe due to his it's not easy to pinpoint one particular factor, but white does have a fantastic center. And I think this very concrete idea of bishop d2, bishop a5, which probably Magnus did not expect when he saw h3. This tilts the game in white's favor. This idea with bishop d2 and bishop a5, it really restricts black's position. And queen b7, knight b d2, c5, d5, bishop d8. This is the position we have right now. Magnus trying to get rid of that troublesome bishop, but he has spent a lot of time in doing that. And with b4, I don't really think he's intending to. Is he intending? He's not really intending to take with the pawn, right?
Then what happens if bishop takes on a5? If rook takes on a5, there might be some c takes b, and at some point knight d7, knight c5 maneuvering.
No, I just come queen b3 right away.
Yeah, bishop, for example, bishop somewhere. Oh, this bishop is so bad. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's so restricted. Black's position is so restricted.
And then d6 pawn is hanging. So.
Yeah, and fun fact is that h3 is basically played in correspondence games. So that's why maybe Aronian was already aware of it and he's played it so fast. And this bishop d2, bishop a5, I love it how he used this Catalan idea like from a completely different position and applied it here. And it's so strong.
I'm not surprised, Soumya. Catalan is such a versatile all-season, amazing opening. Even when you don't play 1d4, the ideas still help you get the points. Meanwhile, the Catalan course is on sale right now, so if you want to grab it, this is a very good time. Limited time only, though.
Right. So course promotion check. And opening explain check. Now let's go to the
other check
position.
No, I was really expecting Vidit to say something, but
maybe Vidit can show his t-shirt. I think it's also part of his merchandise. No, maybe that also we can do a check.
What is there? What is there?
No, this is just a simple shirt.
It has chess on it. No,
chess.
Yeah, it just has chess on it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Exactly. It's very subtle. Now I was just waiting for Srinath to promote his course. Just wanted to give the mic to him before we snatch it away.
Thank you.
So, but Aronian had a big advantage. I was just curious, where did it go? After d5, if you move 17, White has a very comfortable position because I think of the extra space. And the bishops are kind of bad, of Black. Like the decent bishop is now completely restricted. So Black played bishop d8, and maybe b4 was wrong here. Just curious what to play. I think one of the natural idea could be to bring knight f1, knight g3, but I'm not so sure about it that it's the best way to go. So he played d4.
Position, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this position has kind of become a bit non-standard already? So
yeah, it is non-standard, but I don't think Aronian would be complaining. I don't like what he has done in the game, by the way. If you can just go there quickly, I feel that if he had kept the position closed, he had better chances. But now he's opening up with this takes b4.
No, I'm sure you understand, but to explain to the people, I think he's banking that these two pawns are going to be much stronger than these two pawns, in case a position like this comes. And also all the dark squares like c5 and d4 are under White's control. And in general, it feels like White's pawns are more advanced, no?
Yeah, they are more advanced, but the problem is, let's see the rook on a5, for example. It's doing a very passive job of just defending against this a pawn, right? And for example, you can't play a move like rook c1, and just to illustrate, king h8, rook c1, for example, because there's knight e4 all the time, and the rook on a5 is hanging if you capture everything. So it's not so easy. Even this is a good position, by the way. But
how about to get rook a1 and just to have this rook here and then try to get
yeah, White is definitely
try to
better,
push e5 next, e5 d6.
Also knight c4 is an immediate threat,
yeah, knight c4.
What do you play with
Black has to defend against it. I think move the queen away.
He's down to 4 minutes. And Aronian still has more than 10 minutes. So that clearly says that Carlsen doesn't really feel comfortable here in this position.
I just saw somebody asked in the chat, can we see the bar? I think you can see the bar on the right-hand side, which is the live board, and it indicates the engine evaluation. On the left-hand side is the analysis board, just to clarify.
So I'm thinking maybe Queen C7 now, to try and get the Queen to F4 and also defend against Knight
But
C4.
doesn't it allow D6?
Yeah, it allows D6, true. But I thought it's not.
5.
I thought you have to do such things to try and get some counterplay.
No, but E5 here.
E5, Knight D5.
Queen D4.
And
Queen.
just hold a blockade on the light.
How about Queen B3, just to try to trade the queens and then Knight C5? Next.
He just went Rook C8, yeah. Which is probably a stronger move. Queen C7.
But what happens? What happens after Rook A1 now, though?
Exactly. This is what I was thinking earlier, that this allows Rook A1.
94. Oh,
94 in Rook C4? No?
Queen D6. Queen D6. Just sweet tactic, but doesn't work probably. Like all the sweet tactics.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mini Soumya moment.
By the way, very nice that Arunian has managed to put so much problem for Magnus. Look at the time difference. 3 minutes for Magnus and 10 minutes for Levon. Like that's a huge amount of pressure to put on Magnus on the board and on the clock as well. So Levon seems to be in really good shape right now. Good opening preparation, better position. He's playing well as well. So far, I like my 2-2 prediction more than your 2.5, 1.5 for Magnus.
Also, actually, right now, Rook A1 is a concrete threat. And if Black can't defend against it or doesn't have a counter, then White is just picking up
maybe the
A6
counter is
pawn.
Queen C5.
Yeah, but like Queen into C5, and then the E4 pawn hangs. Okay, that is the point after Rook C5.
So Rook into A6 will be met by Knight into E4. So I think he's clearly intending Queen C5. After which the Queen has to move. He has to defend the E4 pawn. If you go something like Queen B1 to retain it, then you're kind of messing up your coordination. So
wait, what coordination? I didn't get it.
After Queen C5, Queen B1.
Yeah.
Queen C2. Feels weird, no, to go back with the Queen.
No, the problem is you can't defend E4, yeah? So this Queen C5 is a very nice trick, actually. Very, very strong trick. I didn't see this. Oh, that's the only way Black can defend.
Yeah.
That's what Levon is thinking. But then how do you continue here with White?
Queen... Okay, now what? Yeah, maybe I was thinking Queen
A3, B4, I did not like.
I thought I could take this. Am I missing something?
But here it feels like Black should have counterplay. For example, you can play BA3. Oh, this is very nice. Rook B6, Knight D5.
Oh.
Nice.
E5, Rook E1, Knight E1, Rook C1. Even A2 was good, yeah. Rook C1. And you attack the knight and next move A2 is coming. Definitely Black is not worse.
Yeah, and we can continue it like Rook B1, Rook into B1, Knight B1 and A2.
Pawn cannot be stopped.
Very nice.
Dual threats.
Pretty ideas. Actually, the problem with White's position is neither of his knights are moving, Knight on D2 doesn't move because then Rook C4 comes in. And the knight on F3 doesn't move because Knight D5 comes in and the Rook on E1 is undefended. So his pieces are like tied down to each other basically. So that is the reason Black is probably okay. So he played Rook A2 and Rook C7. That's the position on the board.
What is about Rook A2? Like, why he played this one?
So while we were discussing the problems of the position, I guess Aronian came up with a solution. And the solution is, this is the part where you help me out with it.
So he doesn't want to allow Rook C2, and also after Queen C5, Queen B1, there is no Queen C2, right? So he's just defending the second.
Yeah. Prophylaxis, Rook Queen. Yeah, thank you, Soumya. While I come up with AD-like dialogues, you came up with the moose.
Is there a stream where AD doesn't get roasted? I'm very curious now.
It's not just streams, actually. It's part of my everyday conversations now.
By the way, what happens here for d6? Isn't that very good for white? Like if you can put the pawns on dark squares, wouldn't you be happy? Like d6 and then e5 next move.
Okay, what moves am I making? I'm not even thinking. But yeah, d6 certainly looks strong. Once again, black has to come up with something concrete here in order to, I guess, defend. But I don't see anything apparent in that direction. Maybe he just has to go back rook c8. Yeah. Why did the rook get to c7? Why did he play rook c7? Why did he walk into this d6? Maybe this position after e5, knight d5. Maybe this is not. Maybe he's hoping that he can set up a light square blockade.
Mm-hmm.
Knight d5 and but knight d5 you like what next?
Bishop. So first of all, where you go with the queen is important because queen e4 there is knight c3.
Right.
And if you go somewhere like b1, then also there is knight c3. Mm-hmm. And if you go to b3, then you walk into this diagonal and there is no knight d4. So white would want to respond to bishop e6 with knight d4 ideally, because then the bishop cannot stay there long term. But it doesn't seem like it's concretely possible because all these squares we discussed that keep control of d4 seem to fall to some tactic, and this knight c3 seems to be coming in every variation. So maybe there is concrete difference due to this.
No, I thought the point was to go queen h4 actually, but does that not work out for white?
Queen h4.
But here it feels like you're losing control a bit. Like black can just push the pawns, like knight c3, b4. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It feels a bit dangerous. Like with white, you don't want to lose control, right, of the game where you have such a nice position.
Right. So that's the reason.
Unless there is something very clear, I don't think Levon will go here.
Yeah, this rook c7 sort of like provocates white to push the pawns and then maybe activate the knights. Because at the moment, what we have at the position in the live game is that d5 and e4 pawn really squeezes the black's position, and there's not much space for the knight and bishop. But after d6 and e5, the knight comes on d5, then bishop has also a nice square on e6. These pawns are so far blocked, and however, all these black pieces are very active. Maybe it's just some provocation.
Yeah, true. And of course, black's position would collapse if white can get some queen e4, bishop e6, knight d4 kind of stuff. Yeah, but queen e4 doesn't work due to knight c3. Yeah. And this is the root of all problems. So he goes rook a1. So when you don't know what to do, you just bring the rook back. Yeah, that has been Aronian's philosophy this game.
Not even rook e1 because of maybe rook c8 and rook c1 coming in. Yeah, after rook a6.
Rook e1, the same queen c5, no? Or now you have queen b1. This was your point.
Yeah, exactly. But rook e1, I think rook c8 is coming in because rook a6 we have rook c1. And this f2 pawn is hanging after knight f1. So after king h2, so he has to go knight f1. And maybe that's like already a lot of counterplay.
Oh, by the way, the point of rook a1 was very interesting. That he wanted to protect the rook on e1. So as soon as black played bishop c8, he went queen d4, queen takes queen, now let's say knight d4, and now black can't play knight d5, whereas the rook on e1 is supported. And that was the point of rook a1. And like to an amateur who is watching the game, this might seem very mysterious when you're watching, like what is this rook a2 and next move goes rook a1. But I think
it looked mysterious to us too with it. At least to
That's
reach.
what I was thinking. Is like, oh my God, he said amateurs on side.
Yeah,
Better
but
be
he's
quiet.
right. To an amateur who is watching the game, I think he included us.
No, I meant
Vidit, it's
I was
time
joking.
to say something. It's time to say something.
No. I was talking about in general. As if I target you guys, it will be not so subtle. It will be very direct. Don't worry. You will know when I'm mentioning you guys.
Right.
Yeah, so getting back here it looks like White has made a major achievement. Yeah, this Rook A2, Rook A1, very strong, quiet moves.
Yeah, very
And,
nicely handled by Levon in the last few moves. You know, like if you notice, again, kept complete control of the position. Yeah.
Exactly.
Also,
Now
very
the A6 pawn is
interesting.
very weak.
His
Sorry, Soumya.
approach. Sorry, just wanted to say like his approach against Arjun and his approach against Magnus, like such a total contrast. Against Arjun, he was going into such a kind of unpleasant positions. He was ready to play in the opening even and take a lot of risks as well. But against Magnus, playing so like keeping everything under control.
I think the world champion title helps to gain some respect, I feel.
No, but also with Magnus, it's such a familiar opponent for Aronian, yeah, for both of them. But there is so much familiarity. Whereas Arjun, there is a lot of things unexpected. Yeah, he's rapidly changing, and you're not quite sure where you want to target him or what to expect from him. So I think that's a big change. A year ago, no one would have expected Arjun to be so well prepared in the opening. I think that was a massive surprise for everyone, which is something also AD mentioned a few days ago when he came in one of the days.
Mm-hmm.
So due to this rapidly changing nature of these kids, I think it makes it very hard to prepare against them because we usually make projections based on the past data.
By the way, this is just very, very good position for Levon. Do you think he will win this? Is there a trick like 95 or it's too much? It's too desperate, yeah, to go for such.
Yeah, the problem
Attack.
is you're not giving a check on H2. Yeah, the knight
Yeah.
on F1 is predicting it.
I
But
would
on the
love to
other
see
hand-
Magnus's face cam now.
On the other
hand,
hand, you're threatening Rook G2, Bishop H3, so it's not so out of danger as well. White is not so-
G4, I'll play G4.
G4.
The move that Arjun missed.
Before 94 is coming.
Right.
Or do you think he'll play
plays
Rook B8?
A8. He plays Rook A8.
Oh, what? Who else said that?
Yes, me.
Who else said that?
Typical Zoom meeting.
No.
Okay,
What?
I
I missed it.
I also missed it. What happened?
Oh man.
Well, let's say Magnus is in shorts. Let's say.
Let's hope that it's his in shorts, at least.
How are you? You have two screens. Is it like I'm just like, how are you seeing both the screens?
Yeah.
Yes, we have two screens, and I think Keti
I
has
need
even
to
three.
rewind
She
the
has
stream.
an iPad as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of like I don't know where to watch, to be honest, because there's something on every screen.
I need to rewind. When he said who else saw that, I was like, you were talking about Rook A8. And I was like, okay, but Rook A8 is not such a surprising move.
Okay, we need to clip that and show that to you guys.
Oh, but Magnus now
Okay,
seems
so
really
back to the game.
frustrated. Like his face cam. Very interesting to see. He's giving so many expressions today.
Yeah, guys, please carry on with the commentary while I rewind and catch up that moment.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
try
yeah,
to,
I see it.
Let's try to guess Levon's moves maybe. Knight E8 he has played. And what would be a clean technique here? Knight E2 maybe.
Yeah,
What do you think,
92 will be played. Without
Think of
doubt.
to King E3 next moves, or how White is going to.
Yeah, it's not so simple.
Convert.
Not so simple. The
Maybe-
A pawn is annoying. But you have to play 92 now. Or is he thinking of E5? But that's too much. Yeah, he plays 92. Looks very natural.
So knight e2 will be met by rook b3, or he plays rook d3 even.
I think he wants to stop knight d2,
Oh,
knight
knight
c2.
c4. Knight c4 was very strong. Now knight
He
b6
plays-
ideas are there. Wow. Levon blitzing out great moves, yeah? Because now rook d2, then knight c3. If rook goes to b3, then knight d4. This is just lost. Resigns. I think Magnus will resign in next 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Seriously.
3 minutes he'll take.
Next
Can't
next
even-
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
After he loses the a pawn. But okay, it's rapid.
That's not going to take 5 or 3 minutes, no. I think Aronia is going to blitz. So what
That
happens
would be
after
nice
rook
because
e3?
there are a lot of questions in the
There
chat
are
for
94.
Vidit, and we can take them after this game is over. So,
You have made a list, Soumya.
I was reading.
One sec.
Vidit was trying to reply in the chat itself, but it would be nice if we can take them, some of them at least.
And now rook a8 check is a threat. So he goes f5. Just I think rook a8 check. Okay. King h7. I was hoping for something like this, but it doesn't work after rook into f5. But
Tricky checkmate.
so tempted to construct a mate.
You guys do not pick Levon. You guys underestimated Levon, okay? Now what do you have to say?
Oh, Vidit, you said I will pick 11 today and tomorrow I will see. So come on.
Yeah, but I
You're
picked
one
today,
of
you know.
us.
No,
Nicer
no.
person, but still one of us.
Don't put it on me. Don't put it on
We
me.
are just
No.
honest. It's okay to be honest and have your own
Yeah,
opinions, no?
and you know, Vidit, you are the star of the show, and it's only appropriate that we chose
The guy you
deck.
pick wins the.
Yeah, the guy you
game.
pick wins.
Exactly.
So we're just playing along, you know.
Okay, this 5-minute prediction, I have in serious doubt because only 3 minutes are left now.
So king f8 on the board, and
Now you just give check, yeah? Rook 8 maybe. Or yeah, rook 8.
meanwhile, Artemis Dinglish going towards a draw, but
Yeah, that's just a draw. Because
Yeah,
it's
but-
3 versus 2.
but White is still
Honestly,
playing,
fine.
so he'll still play till the end. Because you can get h5, no?
No. Well, you can play. You will play,
I
of
mean,
course. But
yeah.
nothing will happen. As to quote someone.
Yeah,
Okay, now
Rook
rook
8
b4
check.
will play.
King e7.
Oh, that was a. That's the highest amount of enthusiasm I've seen from Srinath in 10 days. After rook 8 check.
Yeah, for 1 second I was really hoping that
Played king f2. He'll play
Not
rook
knight
b4.
e5.
some
huh?
way.
Okay, let's
Play-
predict. I'm predicting knight e5.
You know, even h5 is possible. Rook b4.
H5.
I don't know. I think rook b4 is very natural.
I like rook b4, rook b7 idea. With
He
some
goes king
checks.
c3.
No, king.
Ironian chooses none of the above.
Yeah, but now king f4, yeah, it's very clean.
Now
technique.
he refuses us.
In the end game, bring your king to the center. Then do not hurry. Rook a7 check. Oh, he goes rook c4. Just keeping the control. Not playing any direct moves. Soumya is our in-house endgame expert on Chess24 India.
Yeah,
so
with it in the stream, please embarrass me more by calling me the in-house.
Vidit is a guest, Soumya. You are in-house. Wow. Magnus immediately resigns as soon as I took Soumya's name.
See, it was within 5 minutes. In 4th minute, he resigned.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Proud
Good,
of
good.
such great
Oh,
things.
your name itself means prediction, no?
Yes.
Actually.
I think in Russian, Vidit means to know. That's what Anish told me.
Vidit?
Yeah, Vidit means to know.
And
Yeah,
also
on
in
that
Sanskrit, it
note,
means
when do you
prediction,
think
no? That's what
AD
you
will
told
get
me.
married with it? Sorry.
Oh, Even God does not know that.
But marriage is overrated. Since I'm the only married person on this stream, I can
As far as
definitely
we know.
You're
tell you.
married?
Yeah, I'm married, and I'm the only married person in
Ah.
this 4 of you, so I can tell you by experience.
As far as we know.
Why is it overrated?
Because there's so much pressure to get married, and after you get married, nothing happens. Like it's like the same life you're living. Like it's not like something is going to change, or it's completely overrated. Like,
But don't you have like much more added responsibilities and
no, I
all
mean
those things?
responsibility का क्या है? जितना लोगे उतना, like how much you take, you will be given. No, so it depends on you whether to take it.
Is
or
it
not.
under your control?
Yeah. It's always under your control.
I
Life-
don't know
What is
that.
under?
Your life
The
is always under your
responsibilities
control.
that you take.
In Georgia, in my country, when I go back, they're asking me why I'm not getting married. Like, why?
No,
What
that's
is the
why, like,
problem? What
I
I
know
problem?
on this-
Yeah.
Also on Chess 24 India, like marriage is such a big topic for AD for Shri, and I actually feel bad for them because there is so much pressure, and I'm just like, why? Why is this pressure?
Hey, no,
being
there's no
Soumya.
pressure and all.
Please speak to my mom, Soumya. Please.
put?
I would
Yes,
really
okay,
help
I'll
it.
call.
It would really help.
After
It would really
this
help
stream,
me.
I'm going to call.
To be honest, I'm also looking forward for AD's wedding because he said that he will invite me, so I really want to attend the wedding, Indian wedding. But I don't know, waiting for years for that.
We are.
If you want to attend an Indian wedding, I think it's wiser to bet on VD, Keti.
I think it's more likely that I'll reach top 8 in Champion Chess Tour than Adiman getting married. So that's more likely.
Oh, no.
So Vidit, maybe time to take some questions because there were so many questions for Vidit, and he was actually typing in the chat because he didn't want to interrupt the analysis. So
Yeah, I mean, after the topic of marriage, what type of questions you expect are going to be there,
I'm going to
Soumya?
answer
I think the complete
same
wrong time.
questions. Same questions. Like
But Soumya, I feel compelled to bring to your attention. Someone
Yes.
in the chat was
That
like, someone in the chat was like, justice for Ajinkya, and Vidit was like, oh yes, that's true.
but he will agree with me. Like it's not like it's a one-sided statement. Like all married people will agree with me. It's just that nobody tells you this before you get married. They're like, get married, and after you get married, they're like, yeah, of course, marriage is completely overrated. So I'm just being nice and cautioning you before.
And Srinath is like misquoting me. I agreed to a different thing, Soumya, not to justice for Ajinkya comment. I agreed to
thank you.
the
You can
comment
see
was,
the chronology, okay? Clearly, there is the live chat. There is a screenshot. Justice for Ajinkya.
The comment was in Russian, Vidit means to see, not to know, to see. That's the comment.
Okay. But in Sanskrit, it means to predict, right?
That's what I was thinking with it, to be honest. Like when you said that Anish told you, I was like, wow, what? They're friends, right? If he says this is prediction, is he a really good friend of him?
I have the screenshot, Soumya. I'll send it to you.
Okay. But I trust Vidit more than the screenshot, so it's okay.
Soumya,
okay.
That's not how a lawyer operates. They see the evidence. They see the proof.
But you have to trust people, no? Otherwise, what's the point?
I'm hiring Soumya as my lawyer for sure.
So, very important questions we need to ask. Like, how is your World Cup preparation going with it? Because you've been like, there's less than a week. There is less than a week for you to leave for World
10
Cup.
days.
Yeah. I
Sochi?
think very few days. Yeah, I think close to a week left. Thanks for reminding me about that. It's been such a long. No, I felt very comfortable playing from home. Now to take a 28-hour trip. I was comparing my itinerary with.
Trip?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. For me, it's 28 hours.
You're going there twice, or?
Keti, if you live in a little town called Nashik, everything gets added by 10 hours at least.
Exactly. So I take 5-stop trip, for me it's 5-stop trip. And I compared my itinerary with Hari. So he reaches Sochi within 5.5 to 6 hours. And for me, that's the time it takes to reach the airport itself. Just the airport takes me 5 hours. Then that's the sad part, the first airport. Then I go to 3 more airports to reach Sochi.
Oh my
Friends
God.
of VD, friends of VD have heard this for the last 15 years that we can make a petition that if Nashik ever has an airport, an international airport, it should be named as Vidit Gujarati Airport.
Oh, that's
Because
such
I
a perfect
I can't
idea.
imagine anyone else speaking more about this.
I think we should do a stream for private jet for VD. We should. And at least till Delhi, that private jet should go, if not outside. At least 2 flights to bach jayega.
No, Nasik has an airport. They also started a flight now, but due to pandemic, that also stopped. Like, just nothing works out for Nasik.
But wait, are you going some days before just to, rest a little bit and adjust the climate and everything? Or?
Well, I play from round 2, so I naturally get the rest. But yeah, we just reach on the date of arrival, like the 10th of July. We reach Sochi.
Wow. You need a good company for these 28 hours.
I have Adiban, so
Oh.
I don't know about that.
Is it good or bad?
It's subjective.
Keti, how would you answer that question?
What question?
The question you asked, is it good or bad?
With Adiban, of course, it's good. He talks so much and he's so funny. For me,
He
it's
gives free
good.
earrings.
For me, it's good because he's nice to me. I don't know what's like. I have seen Adiban and Srinath, and they are joking a lot, and it's like, okay, what's happening here? For me,
I
it's
don't think
fine.
I don't think I've ever received any gift from AD, in my entire life. VD, have you ever received a present?
He gave me a calendar once. I think that's the
His
gift.
photo
I
or what?
think that's the
No,
only
but
gift
Adi
I
and Vidit are very good friends. Like Adi always has very nice things to say about Vidit. I mean, on his face, he'll of course not say it, but
Of course.
but he always has very, very nice things to say about Vidit. Vidi, whom do you play in the first round, and also how are you feeling about playing over the board chess? Are you looking forward to it, and what are your feelings?
I have actually no feelings.
And people are asking him to marry someone.
The trauma.
Yeah, I meant for the World Cup, I have no feelings. In general, I have a lot of feelings, but but I'll mostly play in round 2, as I said. It's between a player called Alexander Sear from Brazil. He's most likely to win the first round, and then in the third round, I might meet a legend from India, B3 Cowboy.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
And it's
Then
also
he will
likely-
not take easy on you at the airport. If it's so.
Exactly. And in the 5th round, I might meet Anish. So that's also likely.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
think it's pronounced as fire, if I'm not wrong. Although
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Everybody said it's fire, but it's FIER. Like if it's fire, then you just write FIRE, no?
Oh, he's married to Georgian girl, and he's living in Georgia. Alex,
Ooh.
Alex, and they have kids talking many
Which
languages.
girl?
Sorry,
Who is he married to?
Fear, Alexander Fear.
Yeah, who is he married to?
With she's Woman International Master Nino Maesturate. I don't know if you heard about her.
Right.
Yeah, and they are living in Tbilisi and traveling a lot for chess tournaments.
Yeah. So Vidit has to overcome fire in round 2, and then he meets a fire of a different kind. AD.
In round 3.
Fire Heart 92.
So first he has to overcome fire, and he meets fire heart. Yeah, that fits actually with the ADs. Fire plus heart.
Yeah, I think Adiman will win the round 1 at least. He plays 2100 or something. He plays a Malaysian guy, Suman Subramanian. So I think he'll easily win that round.
Who hasn't yet got his visa, by the way?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. But there is a theoretical draw in the game Artemiev Ding. That's why we were ignoring it, not because we hate them. It was just a theoretical draw, guys.
Can you explain this question? Because I think it's very instructive.
No, you are the chessable course guy. You can explain it better, Srinath. Go ahead.
Yes, but Soumya is our...
Can you explain this?
in-house.
Srinath, I want you to explain this position with the highest enthusiasm possible for you. Okay, I want to see that. Okay, like the highest possible
enthusiasm possible for me.
Yes. Okay, let's go.
Enthusiasm doesn't work like that. You have to bring it out in other ways. You can't just say get enthusiastic and it works like a switch.
Try. I want to see this.
It doesn't work impromptu. See, that's not how any of the feelings work with it. You just don't say feel like this and then it works like a switch. I think you should know that by now.
I've never seen Srinath this uncomfortable when I tell him to be enthusiastic.
Well, first of all, I need time to understand this question because I don't have it by heart, which is exactly why I asked you to explain. And now you want me to do it with enthusiasm.
You guys, do you want us to take over here?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Soumya, would you like or?
Yeah, in fact, I have some questions about this position. Maybe you can help me, Keti, and Vidit and Srinath can enjoy. So after this, for example, this we had discussed, it was 3 versus 2 and it was a draw. So black brought his rook on the A file and white finally broke through with G5, 8, G8.
By the way, Srinath, you can at least make the moves while Soumya is explaining.
I was recollecting.
It's on the 61st move, 8G, 8G, rook A6. So after king F7, he played rook A8. And here I honestly have a question, like why can't white try with F6 or even after rook E7, rook B8 and F6? So
that's kind of what happened, no? Or F6, G into F6, you want to play G6 check.
I wanted to play G6.
But how about G6 instead
but isn't
of that?
This a draw?
Yeah, so you will play king H8, right?
Yes. And
So
now
king
you want to
H8.
make me, yeah?
And if I play G7, I can't play G7 because then you play king H7 and whenever I give check, you come back. Do I have a trick? Was my question.
Everyone is dead inside. The chat is saying.
Probably
everyone
there
is
what?
what?
Yeah, okay.
Everyone
so after
is dead
G6,
inside.
king H8, there is no trick and maybe that's why it's a draw. So that's why he played rook E1 and then we got the position on the board, yeah? Rook B7, king F8, rook B8, king F7. Of course, the idea is to checkmate with rook H1, so black will not allow that. He keeps checking on the second rank and forces white to go back, rook E7, rook B8. Again, we have the same position. White is just maintaining, rook A7, rook C8. Black also maintains. And after F6, GF6, G6, again the same issue is with king H8. If king H6, then white can play rook A1 and cut off the king.
Even this should be
or even here actually rook C7 works, right?
Yeah.
So this also doesn't work. Even king H6 should work, that means. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Now I understand this position better. So after GF6, black will maintain the rook on the 8th rank.
Yeah, long side.
Yeah, that is important on the long side.
And in this position, there is only one move that loses for black. Yeah, there is only one move, right?
Rook A6.
Yeah, I think rook A6 is the only move.
And Ganguly played this in a position and lost, Surya Ganguly, and that's why I remember this very well because he showed us this position once when we were in a camp in 2004, and he lost this exact way against, I think, Nisipiano. And
and also is this also the Capablanca Vera Menchik game? So king f8, king g6, f7. Is this how white wins here?
But how is
And
so
after
winning?
king f6, there is king g8.
No, how about rook a8 check?
Yeah, rook a8 check, rook e8, and
Rook
here I thought the
a7?
point is
rook a7, rook e6 check.
Rook king goes on
king
h.
h7, and now rook
This
f6 is winning or no? Rook f6 is winning, right?
On my board.
Vidit is just having fun, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is very instructive what you guys said. And yeah, rook f6 does seem to be winning. Very instructive. Very instructive.
Yeah, recently I also played rook a6 in Blitz game. I had like 3 seconds and I played rook a6 and lost. So very natural.
So the draw is when you cut the king off from the back rank, right? Not to allow king to go there.
Yeah, rook a8 is draw, but I think rook a1 also
Rook
draws.
a1 is also a draw.
Because here the point is... Oh, okay, you go ahead.
No. You tell it.
Yeah, so here the point is after king g6, f7, king f6, if white goes king g8, which wins with the rook on a6, here black has this move rook g1 check. And the king cannot go here because king into e7, and now f8 is no longer controlled by white's king. So the king has to go back to f8, and now after rook a1, we have the same position. So white cannot improve here, and it's a draw.
The games have started, just saying.
Yeah, the games have started. I know.
Awesome.
I was watching
So Levon's game has started and Ding is yet to begin, yeah?
Yeah, so we can sum this endgame up, yeah? So this is basically the endgame with rook a7, the rook on a7, rook e7. So go rook a8 or rook a1, but don't go rook a6. And end of story. All right. So the Magnus Carlsen begins with the Nimzo Indian bishop d3. This is... I think the Nimzo Indian has kind of come back in vogue after a bit of while. A lot of games after d4, knight f6, c4, e6 have gone with knight f3, d5, knight c3, which is one of the big main lines in 1d4. Knight c3 is also a very, very big and old main line, has been played for hundreds of years. But for a few years in between, a lot of white games kept going knight f3. It was almost 60 to 70% of the games at the top level. So knight c3, bishop b4, e3, the Rubinstein variation of the Nimzo Indian, and after short castle, bishop d3. Bishop d2 is the other move which me and Soumya keep referring to as the Sandeepan variation. But after bishop d3, c5, knight f3, d5, once again we have this image where the infantry is clashing in a movie, running to each other on the center of the battlefield. So pawns on all squares on the center. And now after short castle, black is the first one to make changes in the pawn structure. He takes d into c4, bishop into c4, c into d4, into d4. So we have this isolated queen pawn.
I have a question for you. What is this variation called in Nimzo Indian? This CD, ED, and now b6 which is played.
I don't know.
I'll give you a clue. Okay, I'll ask the chat also. It's named after a world champion.
Okay,
that's a
not
great clue. Very useful clue.
I mean, that's really short, sorting it, no?
So Nimzo, which is out because the line variation itself, and also he's not a world champion, and also variation itself is named after Nimzovich. So
no, I think the chat will answer it much faster than us for sure.
Is it Magnus Carlsen opening? What?
No.
What? Yeah, someone in the chat said Magnus Carlsen opening.
He has an opening?
I mean, I'm sure he has an opening, but I don't think he has an opening named after him.
Is there enough? I mean, there is an opening named after him?
No, I don't think so. I was just doing a wordplay.
Yes.
It's
Botvinnik.
No.
Just random guess. Okay, Keti, you want to make a guess?
Just Just look in maybe all the names of world champions and name all of it. We can go.
He's a very famous world champion.
Famous world
Who is not?
Even after
No, I was
becoming
thinking
world champion.
Carpo. I was thinking Carpo.
Yes, Carpo. This is called the Carpo variation.
Yeah. So
Oh, actually, we should have guessed this.
shout out to Aditya Shenoy, who got part of the name right.
Part of the name. Why part? Like, why not?
He said Antony Karpov, not Anatoly. So that's
Okay, that's why half. Anthony.
And also Chinmay, and again only half a shout out to Chinmay, who got it right in his third attempt.
I thought because he said Kasparov, you said for half of the, because some of the, it's an anagram, right? You can interchange and.
Which is an anagram?
Karpov is an
Kasparov and
anagram of
Karpov.
Kasparov, right? Some of the words you can take, and
yeah.
so even he got half of the name right.
But what is the deal of Aronian's camera and his the way how he always represents himself?
It's such a weird camera angle. Yes, I agree.
No, he wants his opponent to stare at his eyes exactly. So, through his eyes, he strikes fear at his opponents.
Relaxed his back, and he has some special chair which goes way, way back.
Like you guys watched the entire tournament, right? Like, who was the most interesting player to view on webcam?
Wesley, no, he brings his cat and also shaves sometimes. I mean,
Oh, he shaves on webcam.
yeah, he
When did that
brought his razor. No, in one of the earlier CCTs, he had got his trimmer.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You missed it or what?
Yeah.
He was shaving, yeah. It was early morning for him, probably too early, and he was shaving. Oh, yeah, he's nice. He's nice. Okay, Carlsen shows us some of his legs time to time. Some nudity is also nice to see. Why not?
I do hope all the chat is above 13 years old. We strongly recommend the viewers to be PG-13.
Not just 24 India got a mini clip,
Who else? What about you guys?
For me, it's probably Vidit, because that's the time when the chat gets all excited with hearts and everything.
And he's showing something on camera? Vidit, what are you showing on camera?
Vidit just has to show his face. That's good enough. Others have to work a bit harder, but for Vidit...
Why is Soumya laughing? That's getting to Soumya. What are you thinking?
Why Vidit is leaving?
She just cannot control her laughter.
He's just leaving, avoiding the conversation.
I just left after Soumya started laughing. Soumya, what is this? We need justification.
I don't need to say.
We need justification, Soumya. What is this?
Let's move on.
I asked such an innocent question and it went to such a tangent. Let's enjoy the last stream of Chess 24 India.
So,
Vidit, what's going on in the game?
Let's focus on the game. Bishop D3, Bishop D7. Yeah, Srinath is asking Vidi, what do you think about it?
Soumya is trying so hard.
I've never seen such a commentary where someone asks, what do you think of the game? And that gets translated to Srinath is asking, what do you think of the game? Now, Keti, you can also go, yeah? Soumya is asking... You can ask with it. So Soumya is asking Srinath what Srinath was asking. Please continue the chain.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Knight BD7 on the board. Oh, so isolated queen pawn. Nice. So we have something to work around here. So basically, in isolated queen pawn positions, White's idea is to create some attack on the black's king, bring his pieces out. So he will try to put his knight on e5, bishop on g5. Black, on the other hand, will try to exchange pieces, and so that the isolated d pawn will be weak in the endgame. So this is Black's strategy. Also, he has a good development. Like bishop on b7 is already developed. Usually, that bishop is only on c8 in isolated queen pawn position. So Black is fine, and he has not committed anything on the king side yet. So
Well said, Soumya. Well said.
well saved. But yeah, so I think maybe one idea is bishop g5, and maybe one idea is bishop f4, and put the bishop on like f4, h3, and rook c1. This kind of stuff. What do you guys think?
So yeah, Black has gone. I think that was very well summed up about the IQP in general, despite VD's best attempts to distract us all. But yeah, Black has gone bishop b7 with the obvious intention of attacking the d4 pawn and also vacating the d5 square for the knight or the queen. Once again, so far, Aronian has flashed his moves
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, look at the time difference. 8 minutes against 15. Like, even with black pieces. Wow. He seems to be very well prepared, or he's just bluffing. I don't know. Or both.
Yeah, with Aronian. But Magnus also, I think, done quite a bit of this Nimzo E3. So you can't really... It was not probably completely unexpected. But with it also I'm curious, in such a long tournament, a player who reaches the quarterfinals or semifinals, how much time do you think they will really get to prepare? It should be so tiring, no? Just playing the games every day for such
Well,
time.
I didn't reach the quarterfinals, so I can't comment on that yet.
But even the prelims is very tiring, no? Vidit, do you get time to actually prepare for each day, or do you prefer to conserve your energy? What has your strategy so far been?
No, I tried to prepare for all the games, but that's the problem. You can't really do it because 5 people, they have 5 different, opening repertoires. But when you're playing against one opponent, yeah, then it's relatively easier to prepare, I feel. Because, okay, he will have a limited number of options, right, which he can go. But 5 different players, they'll... Why are you laughing now again, Soumya?
So what is the optimal way to counter something like this? I mean, how do you do it? You just prepare something in general against all the mainstream openings?
Well, I tried to prepare in advance, but I think on the day of game, it's very, very hard to prepare. I tried, like, you can only prepare for maybe 1 or 2 opponents, and then it also depends on the tournament situation. Yeah, let's say you lose a game, you don't want to play Catalan after that, for example. You don't want to play like a.
Vidit,
Okay,
Catalan
that was
lost
not
in
that
any
was not
situation.
personal attack. That was not a personal attack, Srinath. Just saying that it was not the. Maybe that's time for B3. There are which you will never prepare, but the situation might demand something like that.
Oh
Oh,
my
I have
God.
an important question.
Seriously, what hypocriticism is this? Why didn't you play B3 then? Why didn't you play B3 then?
He was black. He was black.
It was just too embarrassing to
be.
play B3. It was too embarrassing to play B3. That was the problem.
But do you think, like, earlier there were not as many rapid and blitz events, right? But now there are so many, and now the tie breaks in World Cups are also rapid and blitz. So this kind of it's almost like preparation for the World Cup, right? And Vidi has left, but he'll join us back, and I hope he'll answer the question.
VD may be away for a second, but he never truly leaves us. Chat.
No, the thing was, I think not everyone plays their main openings in rapids, maybe, because you can take more risks, for example. But yeah, it's like, running a marathon and running a 100-meter race. Yeah, it's a very different strategy you require for both the races. Although
Right.
the difference is not that huge when it comes to chess, it's eventually chess, but still, the skills which are required are different, I feel. And I feel like now after a year long of online chess, I have a better feeling of what works in Blitz, what works in Rapid. Um, I hope I remember what worked in Classical. That's my that's my concern, that I
Do you
don't
think
forget that.
you can use all these skills that you and all the chess players gained during this 1 year in online chess and convert that to over the board, or do you think that there are like different skills required when you play on real game, but for example Blitz and Rapid?
No, I think the skills are transferable. Like how you get better in Classical, you improve your calculation and stuff like this. You can still apply that in Rapids, right? So I think the similar kind of stuff, like how you play under time pressure and um, how you keep your nerves under high pressure games and stuff like this. So I think these skills are definitely transferable, no doubt about that. In general, just it's just chess, yeah, eventually. So it helps to practice it in some way or the other.
Yeah,
And
I played several Blitz tournaments here in Poland during pandemic time, and I have noticed that some kids were even pre-moving during the over the board chat. They were pre-moving several moves in advance. I was like,
How is that even possible? How is
they
that
were
possible?
playing in advance. It's really well. It was so annoying. I think we're gonna have some bad habits too from something like pre-moving and make the move before the opponent press the clock.
I'm
But
suddenly
what?
very
yeah,
excited about the position. Like, isn't like bishop h7, queen h3, all this coming in?
No,
exactly.
no.
So first of all, knight d5 was tempting, attacking both the queen and the bishop, but this doesn't work due to queen h3, attacking the h7 point and threatening mate. So instead, black goes knight h5, and now white can still play queen h3 here.
G6, we have bishop h6, no? And knight
Yeah, G6 we have
f7.
bishop
Rook
h6.
e8, knight f7.
Exactly. This knight f7 is a very typical idea in this pawn structure where the pawns on f7 and e6 they always remain weak. They're like a dragon's eye.
So, by the way, you know, this move which Carlsen played, Queen e3, is very interesting. Move 17. It reminded me of my own game. So, if you go back, move 9, move 10, sorry. I had a game against Ding Lichen. I played Queen e2. He played Knight c6, Rook d1, Knight a5, Bishop d3, Bishop b7, Knight e5, Rook c8. No.
Sorry.
And now here I played, I think, a novelty back then, Queen e3. So it's
Ooh.
very interesting, this idea, you know, it's very common that you put the queen on h3 and then put the bishop on g5, for example. And it's interesting how, you know, when you analyze such lines, you get to know what works, what are the typical ideas, even if it's not the same position. You get familiar with the ideas. And that's what has happened in the game of Levon and Magnus. Queen e3, queen h3 has been played. G6,
But after
bishop
g6 he
h6.
goes bishop e3, not bishop h6.
Oh.
Why didn't he play bishop h6?
Maybe
Yeah,
it
actually,
doesn't like
bishop
queen
h6.
d4?
Really? Bishop
Maybe.
f8.
And just rook f8, yeah?
Do you want to start
Maybe
with
knight
knight
f4?
Knight f4, queen e3, I think. You have to play
Yeah,
rook
so
f8.
maybe threat is better than execution.
Now rook d1, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure he did not like this, yeah, this complex mess. But
Knight
is it so
f4
bad?
now. Knight f4
Queen
now.
g3.
Queen g3 or g4?
Yeah, g4 maybe also. Sure, why not?
Just to prevent this knight from moving. No, but now bishop at g6 and stuff is threatened. It looks
H5?
terrible for black. h5, I thought you can even take this, but maybe not. Probably not. It doesn't work.
Oh, I can play bishop c5 before I play h5 and press you more, yeah? On the...
Bishop c5 looks strong, powerful. Powerful. This is powerful. Everything is getting hit.
Right. I think that's why it did not work. But what's the time situation? Okay, 6 minutes against 9, yeah? Levon is
Against
thinking...
queen g3, there was bishop h4, yeah?
Yeah, but queen
Oh.
e3 maybe.
Oh wow. Bishop h4 is pretty at least.
Yeah, we should show the chat what happens after queen h4.
Beautiful.
Nice. Very nice stuff. But Vidit is suggesting queen e3, is it? But at least queen into e3, no? And knight into g2 minimum.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, although now it's like kind of irrelevant compared to the game, this position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting to see that after Arjun got knocked out and Anish is not playing today, the enthusiasm of people is very different. I think when Anish is there, they're like really looking forward to the games more than ever. It's like
No,
rooting
for
for
us, it's
someone
a
of
common thing by now, because that's what happens when you stop playing after after the knockout start, basically.
Thanks, Srinath. I think this was a jab back for the Catalan trolling. Yeah?
No, I mean, I thought, I was wondering if I should say it or not, but then I thought you would say it yourself. So why should I let you steal the thunder?
Sure.
Oh, meanwhile, the other game also started, and they already trade the queens off the board and playing this position.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Knight f3, a6. A6 and now c6. I
Talking
find
about this
strange.
A6, there was hybrid tournament, I guess, where all the Russians were playing this line A6, and I think that they worked this this line together. Like most of them were playing A6.
Did you play the hybrid?
Also...
I think some of them played.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
or maybe it was European champ. Like there's so many events going on nowadays online that I just have some confusion.
No, because this hybrid thing, actually we were going to have this Asian qualifier, Indian qualifier, but then it did not happen because of the COVID situation. But it was an interesting suggestion, I thought, like to make it hybrid and almost like over the board. Yeah, you can even sit with your own board and play.
Yeah.
And
it was very interesting. Control. Yes, it was very interesting, and sometimes we had some cases when the players even had an option to play over the board. So
yeah, because
and they played. Center. Yeah, they played in Russia. Shimanev and Esipienko played on the board because they were playing in the same venue in Petersburg. And they had this option, so they decided to play on the board. And arbiter was sitting there next to them, and he was putting the moves in the computer. So that's nice, I guess. And the other players had a computer on the side and chessboard also on the side. So they were thinking on the board and making the moves in the computer.
But isn't like white just better here? This looks very comfortable for white, yeah, risk-free. I think rook e1 will be played soon. And this light squares look very weak near the king.
Can we call this already endgame without queens, or still this is the middle game because there are many pieces on the board?
I think the evaluation won't change irrespective of that.
There is always a question when is the end game? When queens are off the board, or when there are like less pieces on the board?
True. I would say this is an endgame, close enough, yeah. Also one minor piece has been exchanged.
Yeah.
This looks very good for white, very comfortable.
Especially with queens off, yeah?
Yeah. I think knight d7 will be played now. You have to develop, right? Knight d7, knight b6. Or you take on e4. That's the question. Yeah, he plays knight d7. Indian doesn't like that move. Maybe now ed you take, yeah? That's why I did not like it. And take to play against the d5 pawn. Yes, and take back and then rook e1, maybe that's what it did not like. It feels very little.
Yeah.
But now rook e6 is coming. Light squares can be slightly weak, yeah? So d4 was played in the game after rook e1. Probably he had to, sorry. Knight e4, king c7, I think that's likely.
And if the rook can get to e6. So can I start with? The problem is it's too slow. Yeah, starting with rook e2, rook e1. Black is in time with knight d5, knight f4 to protect e6, and I just don't see how
No,
a
but can't.
concrete way for white.
No, I can just take on d6 and play knight d2. No, like what is the problem?
Knight d5,
And now knight c4,
king c7.
rook e6 now because h7 is hanging
Yeah,
in
but
the
now
end, so
knight
you
f4
can't
is coming,
play.
no?
Knight f4 you have. Okay.
Yeah, this is the.
But anyway, you can't play rook e8 right now, so I have one more move. So maybe I can play a4 or something here.
a4.
Yeah, like a4, a5. Is it too less? But of course, the pawn on d4 is isolated, and as we had explained in Magnus's game, isolated pawn
No, the
is.
thing is, I find a4 very committal with this knight on d5 and the b4 square.
So maybe you can
Just
play
my
a5.
initial feeling. Yeah, a5 is what I was considering with the idea of b6 and then later knight b4. But again, as black, I would think about a lot of things. I would try to exchange this knight first of all for one of my knights, and if that happens, I think black is really comfortable, regardless of if white gets a5 or not. And I'm really not sure if white achieves a lot with a5 here. The control of the b6 square, because long term, I think it weakens more than what it gains. So even something like g6 here with the idea of rook 8, I wouldn't mind this development as attack, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think with it?
Sorry, I got occupied with something else.
Okay.
What was the thing?
Never mind.
We
Okay,
were
just talking
considering
about-
taking on d6 after king c7 and going knight d2, knight c4, and just trying to evaluate this position.
Position.
This looks very close to equal, to be honest.
Oh yeah. By the way, Vidit, congratulations for being nominated for the Arjuna Award, right?
Oh wow! What?
No, it's nominated by federation, not by ministry.
It's the first step.
What is this nomination?
Congratulations!
What is it about?
It is a sports award. So basically, in our mythology, we have a story about a warrior named Arjuna who was the best sports person of his times. And this sports award, national award, is named after him. And it's given out every year by the president to the most deserving sports persons in all the sports. And Vidit has been nominated by the All India Chess Federation for this award this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
It's not just Vidit. A few Indian players have been nominated for different awards. Koneru Hampi has been nominated for the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award.
That's the highest sporting award in India.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And Vidit, Adiban, Sethuraman, Lalit, Babu, all grandmasters, and Bhakti Kulkarni and Padmini Raut, they have also been nominated for the Arjuna Award, and Grandmaster Abhijit Kunte has been nominated for the Major Dhyan Chand Award. So back in the times, if you had to marry someone, you had to win this competition. It was called a Swayamvar. So all these men would come in, and there would be a challenge like hitting the bow. Hitting your arrow at a very difficult target or something, and the man who succeeds in that in the best way, he wins the hand of the girl. Now I see that AD has also been nominated for the Arjuna Award, so maybe it's a Swayamvar of some kind for him, and who knows.
I don't know if anyone believes in that, but let's wish him the best of the luck. So if you guys get that award, then the girls will, girls will fight for you to marry.
That doesn't apply to Vidit, of course, because that's already the case. But for others, yes.
That's nice.
Also, Keti, the first Indian sports person to receive the Khel Ratna Award, which is basically the highest sporting honor, was Vishy Anand.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
Yes, I think Ratna means gem, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So Khel means a game or sport. And so these are the gems of her country.
Nice. Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. And I think that there are not many countries where where chess players and sports people can get such awards and titles, and it's sort of like it's some sort of like push for players to be better, right? To fight for these prizes.
Definitely, it's an encouragement as well. Yeah, if you get recognized by the country for the work you do.
Yeah. Meanwhile, some developments in the Ding Artemiev game. So it went with knight into e4, and here Artemiev played bishop b4 instead of king c7. But I don't think it changed a lot because he did manage to get the knight to d5. And here he has this direct threat of knight f4, attacking both the rook and the bishop. So white prevented it with g3. And now black gets rook e8 in time, so that when white kicks this bishop on b4 away from b4, it goes to f8. And the rook is out before the bishop shut the rook in. And with this development completed after g6 h4, here Artemiev, he's still under pressure, but he has some breathing space because his pieces are out.
I think it's very unpleasant, this position, because there's going to be h5 soon played, which will tease you on the king side. And I don't see a clear way of stopping that. Very, very nice position for Ding Lijian, I would say. He might win this. Previous game, it was a draw,
Yeah, previous game it was a draw. Who were you supporting in this game?
I said 2-2. I was hoping for draw in all the games. So. And
I wanted to see Artemiev in the final.
Yeah.
By the way, Magnus versus Aronian, do you see the knight on c6? It's so nice. Like, who wouldn't like to get this position as white?
Yeah, it seems like slightly more comfortable now, for white.
Yeah.
There is some now g5 is kind of a threat to trap the bishop, I feel. Go king h3, maybe. It's a little bit unpleasant for black, It's not too much, but he has to regroup somehow. I don't know how though. Does he play h6 here? h6 and bishop f6 makes a lot of sense to me. But I think white's idea is sorry. Oh, that's also very good because you cannot go rook c8 immediately. 97.
But start with h6 first, yeah.
Yeah, he played h6.
Yeah,
I think very natural. Yeah, I was wondering about rook c3 here. The idea is to play rook b3 and rook b6. How do you play against it?
I think you probably have to give up the pawn and defend, no? King g7 or
rook b3.
Maybe not king g7 because maybe I was thinking a4. Yeah,
no, I think you can play king g7.
How not? Why not bishop f6 and bishop after rook b3, then rook c8?
Yeah, rook c8 exactly.
Yeah,
this is a defensive construction I was aiming.
Wait, rook b6,
a4.
No, but you bring the king now to b5.
Yeah, true. You're not exactly holding your opponent.
Why are we not starting with king g7? Because we don't want to allow g5, is it?
Well, he played h6 in the game.
He did play king g7.
Okay.
h6, king f3, and the evaluation bar is increasing. So, and this is typical position for Magnus, which he enjoys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And 95 now. Rook c7 is coming. So probably black has to play bishop f6 and take the knight on e5 and hope to make a draw in the rook endgame. What? Knight?
97.
97.
Rook d8. Rook d8.
Take on f6, king e4 with rook c6 idea.
Well, I think this should be draw. Rook d5,
Yeah.
rook b5, and you'll get counterplay.
Hmm.
Oh, he played direct rook c6. This happened in the game. Now rook d8. What happened after rook d8? King e4 maybe.
D3. Yeah,
Right.
I thought king e3 just to cover d2.
Oh, this is a very
After
interesting
bishop into
endgame.
e5. But after bishop into e5, how do
Maybe
you
f
take back?
pawn takes.
Yeah, f takes, yes. And now black has to be very accurate here to make a draw. Rook b8 looks very passive. Don't think it's the right way. How do you make a draw here? Oh, Levin got into some trouble, huh?
Yeah, I think intense practical pressure, yeah, regardless of what the bar shows.
Yeah. I don't know why Engine is so pessimistic like me, but the position looks very good. Oh, I would love to see what Levin's expression is now.
Oh, he takes bishop to e5, expected. F into e5 also expected, and now he goes g5. So
e5.
rook into
What?
b6, rook
Oh,
c8.
just wants
Oh,
to.
that's this idea. Nice idea. Very practical. Yeah. But
So
you
maybe
see how many
king-
gestures Levon is making when he was like constantly he's moving, shaking his head, and like I think that's one of his ways probably which he tries to give himself confidence when he's
Yeah.
was,
Yeah,
H5
he
is
does
a
this
very
a
good
lot,
move.
like some stretches, and when he's focused, he has this posture, and then if he has some better position, he starts to stretch a little bit and relax. Yeah, you can read his
Body language.
um,
But do you think players are more
situation.
expressive on webcams compared to how they are over the board?
By the way, H5 was brilliant move by Levon.
Beautiful.
Good to get counterplay. And I think it depends. Like, there are people who like to make expressions which like, kind of get to your opponent because it's very unnerving. Some people don't like it. And the
Yeah,
good thing
true.
in webcam is that you don't see it. You have an option of not seeing it, which I love. I don't care if I'm playing Nepo then, I don't see his expressions. I'm very happy to play.
I know.
It's very annoying when you play online chess and also see your opponent moving and doing some stuff. And over the board, like even though we're so close to each other, there are not much of the emotions, right? No one makes some noises. No one makes some like I don't
Exactly.
know, some actions.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, this will end in a draw, I feel now. You d5 you take, yeah, of course. Right?
Yeah.
ED king d5. And then what? Rook h4?
Rook h2. Rook h4, is it? I thought rook h2 and play rook g2. But rook h4 you want to play, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to play rook h4.
It takes in one tempo, which is important because then you get to move this pawn to a4. But maybe not, because rook g4 is here.
Rook g2.
Rook g2. Yeah. Oh, he goes king f5.
King f5. Wow.
Rook
They're
d8.
playing so well, yeah.
No, he wants to play rook c7, e6 maybe. That's his point, yeah. But now rook h2 should make a draw, right? Rook h2, rook b6. That's the point.
Now rook h6 should work, right?
No. Takes and king f6.
d4.
Does it work? King f7, d3.
I'm on time.
This wins for black, no? Or doesn't?
No, it doesn't win.
How will
No, it's very funny. You can
Yeah.
just continue the line. Very interesting. D3, E6, D2, E7, queens. And now you cannot give queen D5 check. Yeah, queen E6
You have
would
to give
lose.
queen f3 check, yeah.
Yeah. Queen F3 and it works.
Yeah.
He played rook H2, yeah, very active. This should be drawn. Now you just push D4, D3, give this pawn or something. Oh, maybe A4 was a better choice, yeah, instead of D4.
No, my question is, do you have to give this rook f2 check? I thought you can
True.
hold this position with rook e2.
True. I think he missed this maybe. Rook B7?
Rook
And now
b7,
D4.
now
D4, no threat. Yeah.
So rook into b6, rook f2, king into g5, d4, rook d6. And
He'll take on
maybe
b2,
not that
right?
straightforward, no? Or is it
Interesting to see
takes?
how Magnus feels so comfortable in such type of positions. He's playing so fast. Suddenly space increased, trying to put pressure on clock as well.
Do you think he spends maximum time studying endgames? Like, I mean,
I don't
like
think
from
so.
his games. You
No, I
don't
don't think he spends a lot of time studying in games. I think
Then
this-
what is his secret? Why he's so good?
No, I think he must have. He has seen a lot of classical games, and he has a very
Growing
good
up, yeah.
culture. Yeah, yeah. So what you do growing up actually builds a lot of your foundation of how you develops your style. Yeah.
But now
So
rook
is very
Chess
b4?
and
excited.
life.
Rook before rook
Rook
f4.
f4 was the point, right?
Yeah, and now king f5 is coming. How do you
No, but
play
I'm
with
thinking
that?
if I maintain king g8 and king
No,
g7.
you can even move the rook. No, you can even bring back the rook.
King g. No, I want to keep it on b4.
Srinath
And I
live board.
just
Srinath
maintain.
live board.
Okay, sorry.
Once you get king f5, I cannot move. I cannot move my king anymore. I have to move my rook because otherwise you'll take on b4 and play king e4.
Yes, yes. He played king f8. Now, is
I think
e6
we
an
can
option?
show this now, Srinath. Okay, e6.
Yeah, sure. So king f5 and the king is within the square, yeah. We can just
We
do
can
an
just
illustrate
yeah.
variation. And the king is within the
Yeah, and the
square,
king
so
comes back.
white wins this corner game.
Right.
And this is exactly
Defeat
the
king.
threat now.
Wait, why
Yeah,
e6 was not played after king f8?
I think it was a draw. So rook f4, king f4, fe6, king e5, let's say king e7, g5, king f7. Okay. And then king d6
Yeah, this
maybe.
looks like a draw.
King
King
d6?
King d6, king g6.
King g6
Oh, yeah.
takes king g5
With one
and the
file
king
it's
is
a
just
draw.
in time.
Yeah. The king has to reach b8, which he does actually comfortably.
Right. So he played rook
D6 is
b1.
a draw.
I think this should be objectively a drawn endgame. But practically anything can happen. E6 played, yeah, I didn't see anything better. So now do you play king e7? You have rook
E7
e1
is
also.
good.
You have also rook e1 as an option. A very
I
hard
like rook
endgame,
e1
yeah.
more.
But take some rook
Yeah, it's
c4
very
I was
hard.
worried
Very
about.
hard. Sorry?
King1
He played
is
king e7 and it's look at the bar just like
Yeah,
skyrocket.
because the
King
king comes
E5,
now,
no?
yeah?
King g5 and rook f5.
Rook f5.
Oh.
Wow, so it equalizes 1-1. Okay.
Oh. Endgames. Carlsen showing his technique.
And
No, also I think,
he pretends that he didn't know about it. Oh no, handshake here. Handshake.
Nice.
Handshake.
No, but also,
Wow.
I think in endgames, how well you can calculate these short variations, I think that is really important. It makes a lot of difference. How well and
I
how
agree.
quickly you do that.
I agree. Oh, Levon messed up, yeah. Oh, Carlsen just outplayed him in this endgame. He played
Yeah, I think
so
this
quickly.
king f5 was a turning point. Not this king f5, but this d5 into d5 king f5. I think this was a very nice.
Yeah, to find such resources, yeah. Very nice. He kept the pressure going throughout. Like it felt like after h5 it should be draw. But again, Levon had to think. Again, he had to think. Constantly he was asked questions and eventually he made a mistake. So which is how you win in chess. Very, very nice
which is how you
technique.
Brilliant. Especially liked it. I actually liked it from that point he got his knight on c6 because black was under so much pressure from then. He had to find such difficult moves. And Levon managed it to some extent, but how much is the question?
Yeah, how much can you take?
Reminds me of Ding Lijian is winning against Artemiev, by the way, as well.
Oh wow!
I think
Which
this
we
was along the
expected.
expected lines.
Yeah, like he was better and nice.
Wow. So Vidi, it's 1-1 now. What are your thoughts? You are celebrating after Aronian's first round win.
So I told it will be a draw. If you remember.
Vidit knows something that we don't. He knew exactly what was going on here.
Exactly.
He protected.
I could see.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, was it you, Vidit, who was solving some end games with Sagar in the plane? Or who was that?
Yes.
It was you,
me.
right?
Yeah. Some
so
end games,
crazy.
was it? It was end games.
Yeah, end games.
I have seen the video.
Yeah.
Of course.
Sagar doesn't leave me even in airplane, for content, Sagar Bhai is always there.
It's not just you with it. There is also a video of me in train. we had like a
What video?
Like, we were going to a little town from Bangalore. And we got into a train, and Sagar did not know that I was coming. Okay, it was unexpected for him. And so yeah, we just met directly in the train, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you're coming. If I had known, I would have prepared." And then in any case, he just started taking out his mic, and we just started the interview for 1 hour. And amazing dedication though.
Yeah, he's pro.
He's, I think, one of the most unique personalities I've seen. Yeah. Such dedication towards the game of chess is very rare.
There was also one video of him interviewing Carlsen and Carlsen's father at the airport. I think they just met there. It was so freaking cold. Even I felt it in Georgia. It was so cold, like windy, and I don't know, the camera was freezing nearly, and he was keeping asking the questions, more questions. That's one very nice. He's creating very nice content for chess and chess history as well with these interviews.
I agree completely.
So Ding has won.
Do you have any more questions for Vidit from the last round interval?
I think it went very wrong when we started asking questions. So we should be careful.
Yeah. Just maybe better to keep the topic for tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't know for who it went wrong, but I think we got the best content.
Yeah, anything for content.
If only people could have seen Soumya's face throughout, that would have been the best moment of. Yes, this was that face for 5 minutes straight.
BD chat is asking how much.
What?
Raja joke,
Oh God, it's hilarious. So no, I think I'm good. And
we can show the chat Dinglish versus Artemia.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want it or not, but they'll get this analysis from Srinath with full enthusiasm. Go, Srinath.
Are you playing the
practice
San
for this
Fermin Cup,
improv,
by the way? Chat is asking you with it. Because you are playing World Cup as well, no? Chat
I don't know what is this San Fermin Cup. Like, I just signed up for it. I don't know what happens. What do I play next? I just signed up without knowing what I'm getting myself into. Okay. So I have no clue.
Sounds like the story of your life, yeah?
True. But only a few people will know what it means. Okay, so Srinath, let's go with full enthusiasm.
Please don't use the words full enthusiasm. It doesn't do justice to either full or enthusiasm.
Yeah, Sri was so ready to start to explain this position, and the moment when it said do it with the enthusiasm, like it kills the full of all the enthusiasm Sri has. You should not say that, Vidit.
Come on, Sri, we are rooting for you. Let's go. I
mean, Vidit is also into other things outside of chess now, so he's become good at improv, but I've still not got to that level yet.
He's pro in what?
Improv. So improv is, when you say something random,
Uh-huh.
there are two meanings to it. One is, when you improvise something out of the script, or, improv is also when you practice by, just, I think Vidit can explain it better.
Srinath is doing everything apart from explaining the game. No, the thing is, improv is also an art form of comedy where basically they don't have a script like a stand-up comedian. They usually have jokes written down, right? But in improv, what they do is like, okay, they just go on stage, they take a situation from the audience, and they improvise something on the spot to make it funny.
Oh,
So that's what
wow.
Srinath meant. Yeah. So we did that
But
with
it's
Soumya.
not just with comedy, no. I've also seen that happen with music.
Yeah, like freestyle rapping, for
Yeah,
example.
it's with drama and everything. Actually, it reminds me of a short story which I have. When I was in 11th standard, you're newly in college, right? You want to try everything that is available. And there was an acting class. So I thought, okay, I'll take the acting class. And the first thing we did, it was improv. So basically, it was a trust exercise. And you make a group with 5 people, and one person is in the middle, and you just fall in any direction, and the person you just trust that they'll catch you. So this is also part of improv. Like it's basic, improv. It's part of improv training because you trust that whatever you do, the other person will respond to it.
Right.
So
Right.
it was a very interesting exercise.
You guys, would you trust each other to in that game?
No, but Soumya already said she trusts with it, completely.
Yeah, I think I would trust with it in that game. If you don't save me now, is it like I'll reveal all your secrets? Then I can blackmail him. Actually, that's why probably the trust level is very high.
What happened to the lawyer-client confidentiality?
Attorney.
Oh God, hilarious.
Yeah, attorney-client, yes.
All right. So
By
we
the way, there
last
was
left at. Sure, please go on.
Sorry. No, okay. I was going to explain the game since no one was doing it, but you can do it. Yes.
Srinath, full
So we last left at this point where White just played H4, and Vidit was explaining how, if White gets H5, Black gets into a lot of trouble. And that kind of turned out to be how the game itself went, because H4, King C7. Here, Ding didn't go H5 right away, but instead he started with Knight C3. And this forces Black to take Rook into E2. But after Knight into D5 check, C into D5, and Rook into E2, King D6. I think here H5 is a lot more powerful because the knight immediately comes to F5. The bishop can come to F5 with Rook E6 coming in. And this is very unpleasant for Black. So Ding goes for a more concrete continuation. He starts with Knight C3 here. I think it's a very nice addition to this question. Knight C3, Rook into E2, Knight into D5 check. And C into D5 is not an option because after Rook into E2, H5 is a lot more powerful, and there is no way for Black to prevent it. No way to put the Rook on E8, try to exchange more pieces. Black is under way too much pressure. So Artemiev tried to fight back with something like King D6, Rook into E2, King into D5. But this also didn't quite save him from H5. So White got in H5 anyway. And Black can temporarily defend it with F5, but here also he's creating weaknesses with this move F5. And White just needed to find a way to harass Black's king. He cannot go bishop c4 check right away. So what he does is he plays a really nice strategic move. He brings the bishop to this diagonal anyhow. Bishop c4 check right away is not possible. So he goes bishop b1 instead. And now the threat is bishop a2, rook e6 check. And at least one of the pawns fall, either the g6 pawn or the h7 pawn. And if Black tries to defend with something like g into h5, then all these pawns fall together. It's like a domino effect. All these pawns, weaknesses, they become separate, they become apart, and they all fall together. So he goes bishop b1. And by this point, it's already a clearly winning position for White because there are multiple threats. Bishop a2, rook e6, knight h4 is also a threat. Black tries to mitigate some of it. He plays c5. The more pawns you exchange, the easier it is for defense. And this also creates some room for the king to retreat. But Ding had a pretty straightforward way to take the pawn anyhow. He just takes the pawn, he takes on g6, and after knight h4, again, at least one of the pawns is falling, and if one falls, the other falls as well. So Artemiev tries to kind of spoil white's pawn structure with f4, creating a double pawn. Black takes g into f4, and white takes g into f4, and the next pawn with knight into g6. But even though this is a double pawn, this is very powerful because the pawn just advances. We have an opposite color bishop here. So the light squares of this pawn cannot be blocked by black. And f6, he can try to set up a blockade with the bishop on f6 or the knight on f6, but that is also not happening concretely because the path for the bishop to reach f6, they're controlled by white. So there is no way for black to set up this blockade, and this pawn on f4 really rolls through. He starts with b4 because now again concretely bishop a2 check is a threat. Wherever the knight goes after bishop a2 check, black is losing some material in all the variations, at least a piece, and either a piece or either a rook. In all these variations he's losing something. So he goes knight b3, but again after bishop a2, rook c3, rook e3, takes. The pawn structure also gets clarified, and this piece is also in trouble. Artemiev finds the only way to save the piece, but that's basically just a ransom. This piece gets saved for the moment, but he cannot stop these pawns from advancing, and the white pawns just roll through freely all the way till the winning square, and Ding just takes both these pawns and won a very, very convincing game against Artemiev, putting pressure right from the opening, and he didn't really let him off at any point. So I think this was a fantastic performance by Ding, and he leads the first set of the semifinals, 1.5.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't think you explained enough, Srinath. I think, can you explain a little bit more?
Because the games have not started. Thank you, Vidit. I don't understand why they called you on the stream.
So Srinath, I wanted to ask you a question about, like, yesterday we were discussing about Arjun's approach, no? And his, like, now maybe we can discuss it more. Like, you can maybe elaborate it on with us, like how was his preparation and how was his approach for the tournament?
I think it was not exactly this tournament specific in general. I think the pandemic has been utilized in different ways by different people, and some of these, a lot of these young kids, prodigies, they have used this time to spend a lot of time on their preparation. When pre-pandemic, you didn't get so much time for your preparation in general. You didn't have such a long gap between the tournaments. People were constantly playing different events. So Arjun, he had been constantly working on his chess even before this tournament started, even before the Indian qualifiers started. And he was just, doing his routine work. But it seems like something changed in the second quarter of this year. His fundamental approach towards how he works on openings. Till before that, I think I must have mentioned it like about 1 million times to him. Like, the amount of times that Vidit complains about his journey from Nashik to Europe, I think the same amount of times I must have emphasized the importance of opening preparation and how he should work on it to Arjun. But something changed in the second quarter of this year, and he really started implementing it. And he came up with various new ideas. For example, Petrov is something he has never played before, but he was really well prepared and managed to hold against the best of opposition in this tournament. And so 1e4 is not something he plays a lot, but there also he was quite well prepared. And in general, I would have had to do a lot more work when we were working together, and there would be much lesser contribution from him in terms of opening preparation. But in these last few months, it has been a lot higher from him because he has finally understood and started implementing some things. So I think that was the fundamental change in approach, what shifted things for him.
But what made you think that, what made him work you? You said something changed in the second half. Like, what was it?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what changed, but sometimes you keep hammering something in, and then you just realize at some point, yeah, people people sometimes they don't change something for a long time, but I think for example, when there was a time when you're playing exclusively Richard browser, and then you started including French and Caracan and all these things. So what changed in you? How did you suddenly
Right.
improve
It's a
your opening
gradual
skill?
thing, actually. It's just like, you get sick of it. Like, either you lose too many games in that line, or you get sick of preparing the same lines again and again. You want some change. And when you look at some fresh opening, you're more motivated, I feel, in general, uh, to prepare, or because it's new information. Yeah. It's not the same line which you have to go over again and again. So it makes
Yeah.
sense.
So maybe, I'm just making a guess, but maybe in Arjun's case, I think it was his motivation to play such strong opposition, and that he had to get ready for it, or otherwise he would just get killed in the openings. I think maybe that was the trigger for him.
Oh, by the way, I think I might have to go now. So I won't be there for the last two games. So there will be less interruptions. Enjoy the games, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, come on,
Thank you so
It's
much, Vidit.
such a privilege
As
to
always, a
have you with
pleasure.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
And see you tomorrow. Looking forward to having you tomorrow.
Thanks for
Things we have to
trusting me,
say on
Soumya.
official stream.
Bye, Keti. Bye, Srinath.
Bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Soumya.
Bye
Vidit.
bye.
All right. So
Are we talking
it was a
about
pleasure
him
to
or
have
what?
Vidit.
Are we talking about chess?
No, I think generally
No,
the
actually-
tradition is to talk about the person who has just left. That's what I've seen happen in all groups.
Oh God, hilarious. Oh God.
That we
I would
usually
mention-
do when
Yeah.
when one person leaves from the group, then we're gossiping about that one person.
That's true. But here actually games have already begun and we have a KIA on Artemev's game. Artemev's board. Reminds me of Divya versus Polina in the last round of the FIDE Olympiad. And it's such a nice, I love seeing this opening on the board because the ideas are so simple to explain to the chat. And as a commentator, it's a lot of fun, like to explain these ideas. Yeah, like Srinath has already done that.
Very
I'm just
quickly, all the
I'm setting the
ideas.
presentation ready for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
seen this kind of positions and the ideas that Harika managed to implement everything on the board, where she was playing against Anna Muzichuk at Women's Speed Chess. She was doing exactly what Srinath showed us.
Oh, but like
Including
A4, look at A4, Vladislav. Like usually you will not make any pawn move on the queen side because your idea is to play on the center and on the king side as white, right? And maximum you go is C3 and D4, but not A4. Like A4 is very unusual, I guess, for KI.
Yeah, I
It's
think maybe
almost
he
like,
wants to just preemptively play against B5.
Yeah, but this b5
But-
is not really unstoppable because black can play a6, rook b8, and b5 anyway. Or
Yeah,
black
but
can
then you
also-
open up the A file for yourself.
Yeah, if you want to control a file, then you can still go with a6, then develop the bishop, b6, bishop b7, and still go with b5.
Right, not moving the rook on A8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and white would like to keep pieces on the board, right? Because he wants to play for an attack. So the more pieces he has to attack, it's better for him. So exchanging pieces is definitely not in his favor. So that's why it's maybe not a good idea to open up the A file, but we'll see how Artemev treats the position.
Yeah, true. And the other game?
There is a
the green on-
Rosolimo.
Yeah, a Rosolimo, a slightly strange Rosolimo, no? Bishop b5, g6, and now d3. D3 is not unusual because there are variations after bishop to c6, d to c6, where white plays d3. But d3, bishop g7, and Now, knight c3.
Yeah, knight
I'm
c3
not
and he played
quite
e5.
familiar with this. Yeah, and he played e5. I think we are also completely out of book here. Bishop g5, knight e7, knight d5. No, this we understand because e5 weakens the d5 square. So white tries to take advantage of it immediately. And now h6. Any ideas from you guys?
I'm
What is
surprised
happening?
that instead of h6, he didn't went for queen a5 check. That forces knight to come back on c3, right? To defend.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, it does.
Oh, wait. b5 is not... It does, right?
It does.
Maybe b4 here.
b4 is a bit too adventurous, no?
You know, this line is so rare because I actually play only G6 system as black against the Rosolimo and I've never seen it. So that's how rare this is. And I'm just checking some games right now. And yeah, I mean, it's very, very rare. Like there are 2 games in the database and not by very strong players. Basically, knight c3, e5 is already very, very rare. And knight d4 is the main way to face this knight c3 idea. But generally, as Srinath mentioned, the d3 idea, it's quite rare because if you don't want to take on c6, you go short castle and rook e1. I mean, you don't allow black to like d3 and knight c3 is something it's hard to understand unless we actually go like the game progresses and we find out what is white.
Sometimes there is bishop coming on d3, right? c3, bishop d3, bishop c2, and d4. In that position.
Usually in this g6 setup, like the main idea is simply to take on c6 for white. And like, are we showing it on the board? Yeah. And the idea is like just ruin black's pawn structure. In return, you get, of course, pair of bishops and you can take dc or bc. Both the options exist. Nowadays, dc is more popular, especially after Fabiano Caruana and Magnus Carlsen's World Championship match, very exclusively went for this DC6 lines. And then he went bishop G7 and knight F6, then E5, and put the knight on E6 after that, after knight D7, knight F8, and knight E6. So this is basically the crux of black's formation. But this is a completely different approach to not take on c6 also exists. Take on c6 also exists, but then you actually go for like rook e1 and play e5, right? Just this d3 line is...
True. Referring to this variation, no? Rook e1, e5.
No. I meant rook e1, knight f6.
E5 is also a line, but
and white plays e5, knight d5, and this kind of setup. Yeah. So knight c6 also, c7, no?
Yeah, knight c7 and knight c3.
Knight c3 as well, right? So there are like these 2 approaches, but d3 is like so rare and it's hard to understand what white exactly wants. Maybe he wanted like a favorable transposition into this bishop c6, dc6, d3 line, but he didn't get it.
I don't know, but okay. I think the present position, it's a lot more clearer. White has just played h4, and the idea is h5. Now after h5, g5, for example, a random move with black, h5, g5. Here it's not exactly clear to me if white will try to play g4 and then bring the knight to f5. There are variations. There are games when white does this explicitly. He shuts this bishop on g7 and ensures all these pawns are on the dark squares. He then closes over with g4 as well and tries to claim a strategic advantage. So with this pawn on e5, that's one possible direction that the game can go. And apart from that, I think mainly white has to go h5 here, especially that he has started with h4. Rook b8, the idea is b5. So white might be thinking whether he wants to start with a4 or go h5, but he does go h5 directly. And now black is not forced to go g5, yeah? Or is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not forced to go g5 at least immediately. He goes b5, bishop b5.
B5. But if you don't go g5 and you take on g6 with the knight, is it? But then h6.
I was thinking move the king.
Acha, king to h7.
But it does
or
feel
h8?
scary. It does feel scary. King h7, I just wanted to be careful with some knight g5.
Yeah. Like yesterday's Levon's game, yeah. But of course, position was completely different against Arjun. But similar, of course, right now, main issue is that white doesn't have the dark squared bishop. But this could get scary. Yeah. Even knight g5 now. Even knight g5 now is
yeah,
a move.
knight g5 now. Yeah, it works. It works. Black has to king h8. Because h into g5, h into g6 check. And now queen h5 is winning. And of course, this is checkmate. Yeah, king into g6, queen h5 is winning.
Oh, this is so pretty.
Yeah, so bishop b3 and
so bishop b3 and probably g5 will be seen, no?
Yeah, but if you play g5, I feel the position gets not so enthusiastic for black. Then white closes with g4 and then I thought it could become a bit one-sided with this bishop out of the game. Of course, it's still probably quite okay for black, but I feel practically it's easier to play with white.
No. We can take knight g5 now. Oh, but then knight into d5. This is the problem. Because
yeah, you are intending h into g5, h6, bishop h8,
h7, king g7, queen h5, and this is lost.
Nice.
But you can intermezzo me by knight into d5, and that would be a pity because then the queen takes on g5 instead.
Yeah.
Are you also participating in this San Fermin Blitz tournament, Shri?
The thing is, so the San Fermin tournament, it's basically a continuation of this Banter Blitz Cup, which was won by Vidit and Adiban. And they won the qualifiers. So it was divided into 8 qualifiers. Sorry, it was divided, 8 qualifiers of 8 people, in total 64 players. And I lost my first round against Grandmaster Maciej Bartel in Poland, from Poland, the Polish number 3. So I didn't advance to the next stage, but Vidit and Adiban did. Vidit won it very convincingly, and Adiban also defeated Swidler in the final. So 8 of these people who won their respective group qualifiers, they advanced to the next stage. These 8 people, they will play against each other. This is scheduled to be at the same time as one of the World Cup days. So there is a lot of things clashing with the World Cup, a lot of online things. It's going to be very interesting to see how it is managed. But on the other hand, since it's a knockout event, there is no guarantee how far any of the players will go. I'm not just talking about our Indian players, but at a global level as well. So right now, it's not easy for people to shift dates due to this uncertainty. And there was also a San Fermin Arena in which I qualified to the final, and that was a tournament I was playing right after the stream on the 3rd day. And there I finished in the 8th place, but only one goes through from that. So
okay. Interesting. And how do you feel about playing 2-3 hours? Because yesterday also you played a tournament, right? After the stream?
Yeah, yesterday also I played a tournament, but that was a very, very casual event where I was, just mostly talking more with the chat than actually playing itself. And, when we play in this Aeroflot Open in Russia, we are used to these, we do play these games for 6 hours and 7 hours in a row. So I think doing all those things through the formative years, it really helps. And I think we can go on for about 6 to 7 hours in general, as long as we get good sleep around the days of the work, which I didn't get in the last few days. It's very tiring. It's very tiring. And towards the end, I really couldn't get myself to play at my best yesterday. I was making a lot of mistakes.
By the way, speaking of mistakes, do you think it was a mistake by Magnus to enter into this position? Like, if I play a move like G4, what is Black doing? Like, I'm just curious to understand why it's okay for Black this position. Like,
yeah, G4. After G4, the play gets completely shut off on the king side. So the only places that remain are the center and the queen side. And I think here there's still a lot of play. At the moment, the bishop on G7 seems to be shut. But I think Black still has counterplay on these two sides. So although it looks nice for White from a practical perspective, I think Magnus knows what he's doing. He must have studied these questions with the pawn on E5 and G5 and all these things. And so therefore, I think I think it's about equal.
also, I guess there are concrete problems in this position. Like after knight f1, there is c4 coming in. And after dc, bc, bishop c4 with the b2 pawn is hanging. So White's position is not that put together as it looks. Black has their resources. Another idea is to take on d5 and play f5. So
yeah.
Black has options.
Yeah.
But it looked very very dicey. Yeah, like initially when I had a glance at the position, it looked like White was completely better. But now that we see all these ideas, it looks like okay, maybe Black is fine.
There's some ideas. Some ideas with G3 F4 from the actual position instead of.
You mean in the initial position, yeah? Instead of going G4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is this dangerous attack for Black?
I think it's really hard to break through and open files here. I think it's really, really hard to do this because it's one thing is after f4, for example, I make a move, and then after f4, let's say the bishop gets opened up. It's the bishop gets opened up. That's one thing. And secondly, I think Black has ways to ensure that the H file doesn't get opened. So for these two reasons, I think.
So it's not worth it to open dark square bishop for this.
Yeah, at least I would be instinctively against considering something like this. Although maybe again, Stockfish could laugh at me, but I would instinctively go against this. Aronian has played a4, and I think this game is probably going a bit too slow here. So I think we should maybe have a look at the other game, yeah, which looks a lot more livelier from what I can see.
Let's go.
So Artemiev Dinglish. Artemiev is down by 1 point. This is his last game with White in the first set, and he really needs to strike here. Otherwise, then he'll be in a must-win situation with Black. And how's it going so far, Soumya? Your favorite Kings Indian, where you were quite enthusiastic.
Yeah, I think it's, like position changed completely, like from where we left it. I mean, we were trying to explain all the ideas, and then Artemiev went for this a4, and Black took in the center, and e5 he just closed it. So usually White's idea is to play e5 as soon as he gets it, right? Like, I mean, you would have expected him to play 8 e5 and then go on with his plans, but he plays a4, d4, d4, e5, then c3. So
I think this is a way to liquidate and make things easier, because when you play e5, there is still some complexity and tension at the center, and you do come under some potential pressure, right? If you take with the knight, then this pawn is dropping. If you
Maybe
take with
knight
the queen,
c4
then
here?
there are knight d4. Knight d4 is a. But yeah, knight d4. I think white retains the pawn. Yeah, he plays c4 and then he takes with the knight. So,
But I like how
there is
white.
some pressure.
I like how white handled it. Basically put his pawn on c3, and now the d5 square is weak, but the d4 square which black got in return is covered. And after bishop e6, knight bd2, queen c7, he put his knight on c4, and he played knight g5 the next move with the idea to play f4. So it makes a lot of sense. Like whatever he has played so far is completely logical. It's just that black is also like, not being passive. And this knight h5 move, I really like to provoke white to push one of his pawns. So he has provoked d5 now, and he gets the d5 square in return for his bishop.
Where? When?
On the 19th move. Okay. On the 19th move, he plays knight h5 on the board. So now he's threatening knight f4. So white has to take a decision. He has to move one of his pawns or like play some very passive move like knight e1, which is very unattractive basically. So he plays e5 and gives up this d5 square. And Dinglish quickly plays queen d7. So now he can even threaten bishop f5 actually. I think both of them are like, actually playing very, very concretely this position, very concretely. Because now you're threatening bishop f5, you're threatening bishop h3 as well. And
yeah, but I think so far Ding seems to be totally in the driver's seat, in this match. He seems to be the stronger player and seems to be dominating the match so far.
You think white is better here? I thought it's like completely normal position actually.
No, Ding, I think black is doing fine.
Sorry, black is better here. That's what.
Yeah. Also, look at the time situation. White is down to 3 minutes, and black has very good 11 minutes here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is also partially what I base my evaluation on. That Ding is really comfortable. He has a lot of time, and he's the one who has the initiative and the pressure. So I think overall, the immediate idea is to play bishop f5, and then it's not easy to find a way how white continues here. Because white would want to play knight e3, but it gets hit with knight f4, and he just loses a pawn. And if he cannot get this, like if he goes something like, maybe he can go something like knight d2.
Yeah, knight d2 just happened in the game.
Knight d2 is very sensible because you want to face bishop f5 with knight e4.
Right. Yeah. So my first thoughts, if something like knight d4 works, because after saying into d4, queen into d4 check, both of them get hit with check. But I don't think this works at all, because even
bishop
this.
b2.
Yeah, exactly.
Traps the queen.
Exactly. Even this traps the queen. So knight d4 is never working. It's probably a bad idea to even consider it. And apart from this, what else can black play? Because bishop f5 is knight e4, and but I'm thinking black has to try and get queen d3 at some point. What are your thoughts?
I like this knight e4, bishop e3, rook d1 idea, and seems like queen d3 is the one which stops this happening. But here, how about just to capture the queen and try to maybe get on d6 somehow, knight d6, e knight maybe.
Yeah.
E knight.
I think either way, white's position is nice here. I think so. That's exactly why black played f5. He just completely prevents this idea of knight e4, knight d6, and the drawback, it allows white a protected passed pawn, but he won't mind it for now because I think it gives black plenty of things in return. just stopping this knight e4, knight d6 is such a powerful idea from black.
But what can be the black's plan after that? Like, for example, can white now finish the development, like bishop, yeah, somewhere rook d, yeah, bishop b2, let's say. Queen d1, he goes for knight on h5. G6 is
The computer doesn't
possibility.
like it. The computer doesn't like it. I'm not sure about g6 myself. I was thinking of something like queen e8, but maybe because I want to keep this option of g5. I don't want this.
But how
pawn to be
about, okay,
defended.
if bishop f3, then you can capture on f4.
Yes, and bishop into c6.
Queen g6 check.
But king h1. No.
And bishop c4, can I play something like that?
Nice. I think this works. Yeah.
Oh, actually, we have queen e8 on the board. He didn't go, went for g6, and white quickly played queen e2.
Yeah, white quickly played queen e2. White has very little time. He has only 2 minutes. He has to make these quick moves. Meanwhile, the Levon Aronian versus Magnus Carlsen, the third game, has ended in a draw. So they are tied at 1.5 in the first set, and we will see game 4 in the next 15 minutes, where Magnus will have the white pieces, and it will basically decide if Magnus wins the first set or Levon, or if it goes in a draw.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, since Magnus has the white pieces, I think he's a slight favorite, because these players, they have managed to create pressure against each other with white, and also since they know each other so well, they have known each other for almost 15 years. I think they understand exactly where they can exert the pressure and their opponent's strength and weaknesses. So I think Magnus has very good chances to strike with white. It depends on what position he gets in the opening. But again, what I've noticed in the games of these players is that they do find very strong ways to create pressure in the opening. And I told you, basically this g5 idea, it really creates this strong pressure. So g5 takes knight f3, queen g6, and look at this amazing mass here.
Yeah, somehow this maneuvering with queen d1, queen e2 helped black to get a very comfortable queen on the king side.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I don't think white had too many attractive options here. This f5 move, I think it was a really, really strong move. It was not obvious to us. We were looking at all this bishop f5 and stuff, but f5, I think, was a very strong strategic move, and it kind of, I think it kind of killed white's counter chances. And now Ding is marching towards winning the first set, because if Ding wins this game, the first set is over. It's 2.5.
Yeah.
Ding has already won the second game, and now at the very least, can he take on e5?
If queen takes, bishop takes, and there are gonna be some things on h2 as well.
Yeah, but knight into b7 is maybe the
knight f3
move that stops this. Yeah, knight f3 check, very strong move.
Yeah.
And if, of course, taking with the bishop is ruled out because that loses the queen. So white has to take with the knight. But now after g into f3,
yeah, bishop d5 comes really unpleasant after.
Yeah, that is the key move. And everything is under attack. And it's the same with queen into f3 as well. After bishop d5, everything is under attack, and at least a piece is lost. So knight f3 check. White has to play king h1, and here there is something really nice, maybe for the chat. Black to play and win. I'll put it for the black side. So finally, chat gets into the action.
Yeah, let's see who is the first.
Yeah, let's see who is the first. And thankfully, it's not Keti this time.
No. I'm behaving so well.
You learned
Learning
how
fast.
it goes in the Chess 24 India stream.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's
All
someone
right.
in the chat, Tanmay, asking since Vidit is traveling on the dates of Banter Blitz finals, can he forfeit his spot? My friend, that's not how the world works, you know. You can't say, no, I'm not playing, give it to this guy. If he forfeits his spot, the person who qualified next, you know, maybe the guy who he beat in the final will take his place. And I am also traveling on those dates. I am also going to Sochi as the coach of the Indian Open team, you know, the men's team. So
But your traveling hours are not that long, right?
yeah, my
Hopefully.
traveling hours is 10 hours shorter. And it includes AD right from the beginning. So, you know, it's going to be even shorter.
Yeah. So, but still 18 hours.
Yeah, it's a long time, you know,
That's
especially, you know, wearing mask and shield, which I haven't traveled before. Wearing a mask and shield for such a long time, it's going to be a different experience. Meanwhile, we have a lot of right answers too in the chat. Shout out to Vishal Kalyan Shetty. Shout out to Neev Patel and Arnav Matange, Piyush, Vinny Munjal, Shabas. Vinny, you've written it 3 times, but I'm only going to give you 1 point. I'm sorry. And Tanmay Kumar Mohanta.
Nice try.
Knight G3 wins here because I have
Yeah.
to H into G. Queen H5, Queen H7 both wins. You don't put the queen on H6, of course. It's covered by the bishop. And this is checkmate. The king cannot move here. And after Queen H2, there is Queen into H2. But if you want to have fun, you can still take Queen into F1. It delays the mate by 1 more. But you end up with 1 rook more. This is how I used to play when I was a child.
That's even worse for the opponent. That's even worse.
Yes, I was hoping that it would, you know, teach them to resign early, but these kids never did that. They played on till mate.
Yeah.
You know, because as kids, the earlier you go, the more your parents scold you because you lost faster.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the worst thing. Like then after the game, you have to deal with the parents.
I know. So the kids used to become experts at crying on demand. So if you lose and then you cry and go out, your parents are like, "Oh, it's okay, no worries." But if you go with a happy face, then you're screwed.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I learned when I was kid. Like every time I was very pissed at myself, my parents were trying to be very supportive and, you know, telling me that I will be working even harder and I will be even better and so on. And if I was like okay with the result, they were asking me like, why this happened? So I had this strategy too, just to act that I was really, really pissed.
I see it's a universal thing, not just restricted to India. But guys, this is real life survival tips. None of you are under 10 anymore, so it's not going to work as well. It only works when you're under 10, under 12. Then later on, you know, when you get sad, people don't care as much.
Yeah, they just give up on you. Like they don't care that much on you. Older you get.
Yeah. So back to the game. I think so. Yeah, we were looking at this knight into e5 stuff, but Ding goes f4 first. So after bishop e4, queen g7. After knight into b7, it looks like white is winning an exchange, but black doesn't really care because look at these wonderful pawns, f4 and g4. These pawns are, you know, just rolling along and dominating. And on the other hand, look at how white's pieces are. They are, you know, they are suppressed. They're just suppressed. You know, I played this game called Valorant, and recently there was a new character released whose powers is you can suppress them. You can suppress your opponent's special abilities. So similarly, here it's almost like white is playing against KO, a team of KOs on the black side, and all of white's pieces are just suppressed. They don't have much to do. Knight d3.
Don't you think here is going to be the same ideas as we demonstrated earlier? Like after knight f3 check, he cannot capture this knight. And if king goes on h1, then we might have the similar idea. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Once again, chat, do you recognize this pattern? Same pattern, but slightly different position. So in this case, what should white play against? First of all, what should black do here? And then in this case, what is white's correct move? If you found black's answer, then what is white's correct move after knight f3 check? These are the two questions you have. Guys, yeah, I'm really sorry, Vinit. I'm really sorry. Didn't mean to start the topic of that.
What topic?
No, about the parents being strict.
Yeah.
So the knight f3 check happened, king g2, knight h4 check, and Artemia is down to 20 seconds and he's under intense pressure. He has a difficult position. He has to try and find an accurate defense, but his position is just so depressing. The king can, does the king go to g1 or h1? He goes back to g1. And here there should be a way to finish white off. Yeah, there should be some way to do it.
Yeah.
I
How
don't
about
quite...
c4? How about c4?
c4, b to c4, you only...
Yeah, take on c4, and I want to play with black bishop b6 check.
So I stop it with a5. And now, maybe you can just...
I should have told you.
To take this...
What I wanted. Yeah, after queen takes c3, bishop comes also on b2, and then this bishop on the long diagonal.
Yeah, true. And also queen into g4. So overall, it doesn't look great. The idea of taking queen into c3 itself doesn't look great in any position.
Yeah.
And...
he goes with f3. And when the queen moves, maybe his idea is to go with g3 next move.
Yeah, g3, and it's just killing for black.
Yeah.
To the people who are asking, where is Soumya? Soumya is just fixing some internet issues. She'll be back any moment. So queen e4 check, rook f5, and it's going to be mate any moment here. H into g3, queen into g3 check. This is a really powerful display by Ding Liren. Yeah? He's really showing his class.
Yeah, and the rating difference between this is almost like 100 FIDE points. And seeing these two games, that's pretty much visible.
Yeah, but it's not the case with rapid ratings, no? It's the classical rating.
It's the classical rating, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in rapid they're a lot closer, but
closer.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I mean, you're right. The 100 points difference seems visible for today. Maybe Artemia will hit back stronger tomorrow. Let's see. But this is what happens when you have these games in more Asian-friendly time zones. Yeah, I think Ding was suffering throughout the Champion Chess Tour, but one tournament where all the other tournaments he was playing from something like 2 a.m. The games used to start at 2 a.m. and end at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. which is almost inhumane.
That's very bad. That's very bad. Like, I'm sure he's not used to it, and it's very hard to force your brain to work at that period. Like, you can't. And also, this kind of energy drinks doesn't really help you. Then it's so hard to recall all the lines and be more focused. Like, it doesn't help. Like, to get 10 cups of coffee or something, then you will have another problems. With that.
Yeah, and also, they do give you this instant boost, but then later there is a fall. It gives you a spike, but then your energy levels are here, and it gives you a spike, and then it goes all the way down.
Yeah, and you feel so empty, and also that can give you some issues of sleeping. And if you don't get good sleep, then what about the second day? Second day will be as hard as the previous, and you're just getting out of the energy.
Exactly. So these were the issues faced by Ding in the
Yeah.
earlier tournaments. And also, if there was no pandemic and in a similar situation, it's also an option for you to travel to a more friendly time zone. For example, Ding could travel to Poland and rent an Airbnb and play. But that's not possible during the pandemic
Here,
era.
you see such a comfortable sofa over here for Dingley. I had some chess friends here staying, so
I
it's
know,
well
I know.
tested.
Bella.
Nina,
Nina.
yeah, she was staying
Yes, you told me.
Hi guys, looks like I missed out on a lot. I got disconnected and it like took me a lot of time to reconnect, and then I thought I might as well have a coffee. So
Yeah, I got the coffee too. Like whatever you do, it's like, by the way, let's get coffee tea.
oh, so Ding Lijian is winning or he won already? This is so nice, this position on the board.
He's winning.
Winning,
He's
yeah.
winning some.
Wow.
So Ding knows you, yeah. I mean, he knows that you're going to come back at this point, and he wanted to greet you with this position.
Yeah, I think Artemiev is not thinking about this exact position, but he's analyzing how he could play better earlier, because it's so hard to find here anything.
Oh, totally, Katie. Yes. Do you also go through this? I go through this so much. Like, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah. That's how I know it.
Focusing on the present position, you're like, maybe that 10 moves earlier, I shouldn't have given that pawn.
Exactly.
I think we all go through that, not just in chess. We all look back and say, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Oh God. I have like issues like, oh, maybe I should have chosen a different opening. These kind of thoughts, yeah. Rather than thinking on this position on the board.
There are regrets starting from first move. That's for sure.
Exactly.
No, but over time, I think you start gaining control over that. I think it happens until a certain point, but after some point, you learn. I think you kind of learn internally that what you realize with hindsight is not really your fault.
After some time, I think you just limit the time you spend for that regrets, and
yeah, exactly. You gain control faster.
Yeah.
What becomes clear with hindsight is never your mistake. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
That's totally true. I totally agree with that. By the way, your Queen H3, King G1, Rook G5 is mate. So has Ding played it, or he's finding?
Soumya. Please be careful.
Oh, because Rook H2 is the point. Thanks.
Wow.
Thank you very much for pointing that out. So that is the reason this kind of stuff doesn't work. He plays King H6.
That is the reason why one needs to stay concentrated till the very end of the game. Yeah, that's the reason why Ding is still focused.
Yeah. King H6 I like very much.
King H6 is, yeah.
H5, but what happens after Rook H2?
King G7?
H5.
Rook H5 is great. Even King G7 might have worked actually, because H8 is controlled.
Yeah,
but
all roads lead to Rome.
This is very nice, yeah. King on H5. Yesterday we saw Aronian's king on A5. Today we are getting to see the king on H5. All these beautiful concepts.
Yeah.
I just remembered one interview with Dingley when I think it was at World Cup. He won a great amount of money, and I asked like, are you planning like how you're going to spend this money? And any guess what he said? What he replied?
He will put it into his chess training.
No.
That's clearly not a priority. Okay. Oh, I know. The government takes up a lot of their funds, no? So I don't know if how much money. Like they pay a lot of taxes in China.
No.
So I don't know how much actually he got. Like
at World Cup finals, he got into the finals. It was
like the World Cup. Even in the first round, if you lose, you
get 3.5.
No, I know that you get a lot of money, but the point is in China the taxes are very high for the sports persons. So almost 60% That's what I heard, that they pay to the federation and the government. So they don't really get as
60%.
much as we think.
Oh,
But
look
there
at
are
the
exceptions
smile
for-
at Stingliren's face. Nice. He's so satisfied. He's so satisfied.
I miss that feeling after winning a chess game.
He cannot hide it. He's actually the one who always have this, serious face, not showing too much emotions, but he cannot stop himself to show how happy is he.
Yes.
So Keti, what was Ding's answer?
Sri, you want to try, or Chat wants to try? I can.
We can try. And I think Chat can also try. Chat, what do you think he replied? And meanwhile, we can just go through the first 6 moves of the Carlsen Aronian, the final game. This is going to be the last game for the first day of the semifinals of the Goldmoney Asian Rapid. And here, Magnus played the London system, and Aronian plays 3 bishop g4, which we have already seen in the Carlsen Gukesh game. But against Gukesh, Carlsen played bishop e2, and here instead White deviated with f3, bishop d7, and g4. A very an approach which is not at all recommended for people who are starting to play chess, but it's understandable. White takes up a lot of control on the king side, and since the center is closed, there is no immediate threats against against White's king, and he has enough time to take his king to safety. So when your center is closed, you can afford such things on the flanks, either on the king side or the queen side. So g4, c5, c3, queen b6, and now queen b3, e6. This is the present position that we have. The advance on the king side, it keeps the space while we are probably expecting a queen exchange on the queen side. So I think the position is about normal. The queen b3, queen b6 typically happens in these London systems. So knight d2 played c4. And after the queen exchange, White will have extra space on the king side. So I think I like Soumya Sachi's answer, chessable course. Is that right, Keti?
Oh, back then there was no chessable courses.
Unfortunately.
Someone wrote motorcycle. I thought that was also funny.
Motorcycle, yeah. So we have some ideas of house. I would buy a house if you want that much money. Creeps.
Did he buy some kind of a... I don't know if it was bank have. I would bet that he bought something related to gaming because he loves gaming. So some kind of a virtual reality PlayStation kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay, so it was like this. I took an interview. Like I was so happy. It's like, there's so much money. How are you going to spend this? And with his face and calm voice, he says, "I will give it to my mom." And it's like, what?
Oh, so sweet.
I couldn't stop.
sweet.
Like I couldn't stop this reaction. Like, what? He will not buy anything. And he said that by mom, he said that he's giving this money to his family. And they are, they are probably planning.
Yeah, that's what I also used to do.
until we changed, right?
I think until I was 19.
That's
Until I was 19. After 19, my chess expenses and income both I managed it myself. So yeah. How about you, Soumya?
My dad is a banker, so for a long time he managed my finances. Like even all my prize money, I used to just blindly give it to him, and he would manage my finances. And it took me a long time. Like I had to actually prove it to him that I can handle my own money, because he just didn't trust me. And only the first time I stayed abroad.
That's not specific to banker dads.
I don't know. I think it's very specific to banker dads because they are so cautious with money. Like they are like, oh, you will just waste it. You will just invest it in the wrong place, all these kind of things. So I until I was 24, I had no idea what was there in my bank account, nothing. Like my dad used to take care of everything. And when I was 24 and a half, I got a chance to go to Germany on a scholarship. It was a fellowship at an art residency program for 3 months. And that was the first time I ever lived alone by myself. And I was so excited because finally I had a chance to manage my own finances. And it was a chance for me to prove to my dad that I can manage my finances on my own, take care of my own money. So only after that experience, my dad started to trust me. Otherwise, he was very reluctant to share anything with me. It was just like I come home, give everything to him, and that's it. That was the equation. So
Yeah, I know. I can totally relate with that. No, but I should also mention that even when I was a teenager, like 11 or 12, my parents created a joint account, between my parents and me. And they put a part of my winnings and earnings on that. So in that sense, yeah, I had my own account from a pretty early age. But yeah, I really started being on my own when I was about 19 or 20.
I had the same. My grandma decided to create an account for me. I was very small, and she created some kids saving. And I remember that at the same time, she got me a new phone, a new mobile phone, first mobile phone. And I still have the number which I was using back then. And it's under my grandma's name because I was underage. I could not have my own number. And still, I had some issues with my phone. And I went to the company. It's like, I need this. And they were like, are you this person? And also the name is like, nowadays it's not common name, and they are watching. It's like, is it your name? It's like, no, it's my grandma's name. And they said like, you have to bring your grandma.
Were you like, does it look like my name?
Your
Seriously?
name? So, sorry?
I mean, they asked if it was your grandma, right?
Yeah, because nowadays people don't call these names because it's quite, very old style, like Soviet style names. So so I have this number and also bank account from the very, very early ages, and I was never spending that money. I was never spending, just collecting. And I remember that first year at my university, I went at the bank take them out, and it was such a painful moment that I had to spend for 1 year of my studies everything that I collected for years. And I was like, do I really want to study?
I know. I think even the chat can relate to this feeling, because we have this piggy bank in India. Yeah, I think piggy bank, it's a universal. I think in Hindi it's called Gullak, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, piggy bank everyone knows. You don't need to translate it to Hindi.
I know, but when you say Gulak, it yes, brings a different emotion, no? There's also TV series by the name Gulak. It's by TVF. Yeah. No.
So about this FD, this bank account thing, I also had it actually, but it's just that I didn't operate it. My dad operated it. I just signed wherever that needed to. So I had all these things in place, but it's just that I had like no idea. And then there was this whole struggle to prove myself, and it was it was hard. It's not a very pleasant thing to have to prove yourself. Yeah, like I can take care of myself. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So knight e2. I love white's position. What is black doing? Bishop on d7, French position, and white is so many moves up. He has also exchanged the dark squared bishop.
Do you think this looks like a good version of the French defense for white?
Yeah, it's like so much more space than usual.
Yeah, also another thing, like this c4 pawn, it's like the center is so blocked and white is ready to attack on the kick side. And in French defense, usually they're keeping pawn on c5 to keep the attention in some of the positions, right?
Exactly. They keep the pawn on c5, so there is constant pressure on d4. But here the pawn has already been advanced to c4, and as they say in chess, once you move your pawn forward, you cannot really bring it back. Yeah.
It's like a marriage, right? Vidit would say.
No, but marriage you can bring it back. It's not like a
It's
marriage.
painful.
I know, but it's still an option. But pawn is like death. You just cannot bring it back no matter what.
Yeah, I like this f4, f5, knight g3. I mean, I would be like super happy to play it as white. Actually, I like positions with initiative, so maybe that's why like I will always prefer this with white. But maybe black is okay. I don't know.
Yeah, and I had a very similar position against Andreikin, by the way, in a game in 2016. Andreikin is one of the top top grandmasters in the world, and I had this exact similar pawn structure. I think it's a very nice position for white, by the way. I think Magnus is a big favorite to win this. Rook g1. Now, chat, what if black plays g6? How does white respond here? White to play. And here is another chance for you to rise and shine. White to play. What do you guys play? And Keti, please don't answer this. I know you're part of the chat, but please give them a chance first.
I think producer should mute me at this moment.
I know. If I was the producer, I would immediately do it. I'll just have this all time ready, and then the moment I finish the answer.
I did it so many times for the first time when I was here with Srinath and Adiban. I think I did like 4 or 5 times, and I was repeating doing it. And the guys were like, they were so nice. They don't want it to be rude to me, but
yeah, have you watched Friends?
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course, 10 times, I guess.
Everyone has watched Friends, no?
Yeah.
So Keti used to be like Monica, We ask a question and she's like, I know.
You remember the class Phoebe took, and then she decides to take Monica along with her. Oh my God, that episode. And Monica is like, yeah, I bargained for extra tests. Extra tests means extra learning, guys.
Essay questions.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was that bad. Yeah.
But that's great. That means like you're so enthusiastic about seeing chess. And do you by the way, you're streaming a lot, right? Yesterday only we discussed this post stream. So do you also get time to work on your chess?
I scheduled like this to have one day with my coach for 1 hour, and we were working on some openings. We were talking, like preparing for some tournaments, and that was like for months I was doing it. But this month, July, was extremely hard for me, and we just decided to stop for a while because physically I cannot hold this much of the work. But I hope that for the next month I will just keep it going, because this is super nice to have a coach, even once in a week, and I'm getting all these updates, all this new information, and it's just good to have a mentor who will just tell you analyze this book. This book is good, so I'm doing it.
It's always nice to have some person who gives you directions, who helps you with directions.
Yeah, there is some moments like he was asking me if I had some questions at the openings that we were working, and I was like, no. And he was like, okay, did you work on them? I was like, no. So then we decided to stop for a while, because you should want to have some chess practice, right? And to be focused on it. Otherwise, you are just spending 1 hour to just just like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
True. Meanwhile,
I think there is no color in life without. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Shout out to Sabyasachi, Jimmy Barrett, Shabas, Jimmy Barrett again, because he wrote it 2 times, one RG6, and then he was probably not sure whether, I would know what R means or not. So just to clarify, he also wrote Rook G6. So well done, Jimmy. That was, and Anindya also, very clear answer. So Rook G6 is the right move, and Anindya also wrote it right 2 times. First, he wrote in a clear literature way, Rook into G6 check and follow up with Queen G6 check after takes. The second time, he just wrote the notation, Rook into G6, F into G6, and Queen into G6 check. So very, very helpful that you give such clear answers, and it is the right answer. So well done, all of you guys. So for this reason, Black did not play G6. He played King F8. And now after Knight F3, Knight E7, Knight G3, Rook H6. Here I think H4, Bishop H3 and F5 is the idea, yeah?
Yeah, nice. I think Black has a long day of suffering, but luckily it's a very short game, so it will end very soon. That's how I evaluate the position.
That's savage.
Long day of suffering, but a short game.
So yeah, H4, H5, there are so many options for White to improve his position, and Black simply can't help it. Queen D2 on the board.
But why is Magnus playing so slow if this position is so easy to play with White? And if this position is so difficult to play with Black, then why is Aronian playing so fast?
Just Queen D2.
Maybe he wants Queen F5 and Queen G5 at some point? Or what is the idea of Queen D2?
But I thought also is he preventing B4 in some way? Is he just putting his queen at a better spot? But honestly, I felt the priority should be H4, H5, Bishop H3, F5. This seemed like the sole direction of where White should play against. Also, I'm really surprised at how slowly Magnus is playing in such a comfortable position.
No, but this is Magnus style, no? I have seen some of his games where there was an option to create an attack against the opponent or take a pawn, and he took the pawn. Like he likes to keep control in the position. That's something I have noticed about his games.
I understand, but how exactly are you losing control with H4, F5 in any case?
Yeah, you are not, but he doesn't want to allow any counter plays. He plays A3, doesn't even want to allow B4, but it creates some holes, of course, in his positions as well.
No, but B4 comes anyway, no? Like you get A5, Rook B8 and B4. It just delays it by one more, right? Yeah. So it's not something I totally understand. Honestly, I'm missing VD.
Hey, VD raid in VD's channel. What is this?
I know, right?
What is this?
I don't exactly understand what's happening, but guys, thank you so much for the raid.
How is this working? Like I also don't understand, but thank you for the raiders and the people who send them. BD and Anish
and CBI
and Chessbase India Sagar.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all of you guys, and welcome to the Chess 24 India broadcast. And while you're here, do like the stream and subscribe to Chess 24 India if you haven't. Yeah, I think I see your point, Soumya. So let's say H4 happens. Mm-hmm. Here, I guess Black goes B4 directly. And I guess Magnus wants to be at a point where at least he opens the A file when this B4 happens. So he starts with A3, and then after A5, now he goes. It looks like you're admiring something and smiling, and I'm certain it's not my analysis.
No, I'm just like so sweet. Yeah, everyone is in the chat and they're like writing VD raid, Anish raid, Samay raid. I'm just like feeling grateful. Thank you guys. And
at least you can say no, Srinath, it is your analysis.
Oh,
no. Thank you.
I thought we are doing honest streams.
Thank you so much.
Yes, now I'm going to pay my full attention to what you were explaining.
No, I'm sorry,
Please.
I've lost my mood.
H4 on the board. This
Lost
is
your
what
chance.
you have been suggesting, and Magnus has heard you.
Yeah, so again, the point what I was saying is like if you start with h4, after b4, the a file doesn't open, but if you include a3 and a5, then the same position, white opens the a file when black plays something like rook b8 and b4. Now again, your attention is gone towards the other side.
Is that better to have open a file for white?
I'm not sure, but it could be useful someday somewhere, no? It could be useful someday somewhere in the end game.
Yeah, also the king on f8 is not the safest king.
Yeah, so practically it's a really nice position for white and a really depressing position for black. That normally I would expect the time situation to be exactly opposite, 9 minutes for white and 4 minutes for black. But how does black defend in this type of a position? Because black has to try and generate some counter chance some way or another. So bishop h3 is coming by force. He has played rook b8 in order to try and respond. Oh no, he hasn't yet played rook b8. Yeah, but rook b8 is what I'm expecting. Bishop h3, b4, a into b4, a into b4. But the kind of advantage that white is getting on the king side, black is not getting the same on the queen side. So white just seems to be much faster, and it's not really completely clear for me how exactly black defends here. But again, the thing is, it's not easy for white to get f5 either, yeah, because whenever you play f5, black can take into f5 for the moment. He has these two pieces defending f5. White has these two pieces attacking f5. White needs one more piece in order to be able to capture f5. So f5 is not happening immediately. But instead, what Aronian has done is he himself has gone f5. Now, this prevents white from playing f5 forever. But on the other hand, it also gives white a completely free hand on the g file. So until this point, it kept certain things open for black. For example, if this knight moved, you could play knight f5. But once he puts this pawn on f5, black is doomed to passivity completely on the king side. So white has a completely free reign on the king side. He can go, for example, queen g2 and ideas like knight e4, and black will never have knight f5. So I think this
clearly
white will
not react with this f5 pawn, right? We will not see en passant here.
Yes, no. Absolutely. En passant is the last thing on white's mind here. But I first thought something like queen g2. f5, I think probably an unexpected move for Magnus. And after queen g2, maybe Aronian is intending something like knight g6.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe better to start with h5, no? Just prevent all kind of counterplay and then play bishop, anything you want, basically.
Yeah, I think this is what Magnus is likely to play.
Yes, bishop e2.
Someone has this thought that Aronian is moving back so much that he will fall. One day he will fall down.
I haven't seen his chair actually. Like, is it like this kind of chair?
Oh my god, even his eyes is not visible.
Yes. Yes. And he's going really, really, really back.
Yeah. Meanwhile, people in the chat, thank you so much for your love, Sudeepta, Rahul Kant, and Keti. Also, a lot of compliments to you in the chat.
All right. There's so many comments. I'm not used to see so much comments. It takes me more time to read it. Yeah,
they're all very sweet, and they're sending you a lot of love.
Oh, loves from my side to you. Lots of hearts to you guys.
So we are not able to guess any of Magnus's moves so far. He's played bishop e2 and king f2.
He don't need to say that.
I understand. So he wants to keep the queen on d2 from where he keeps control of this b4 square forever, and he wants to assign the job of invade. Oh my God.
What is that?
E4 is so weird.
Unbelievable.
Like blocking any kind of counterplay, basically.
For black.
Why?
Exactly. Like any kind of like all the dreams of creating any kind of counterplay are gone now. Now he'll just play rook g2, rook g1. He'll play anything. He can even bring the king back to b1.
Yeah, and
I think Magnus had a mini heart attack seeing e4 e4 move that the opponent played. Like sometimes when you are too happy, you're getting some rush, right? And you feel like, oh my God, I might have some heart attack out of happiness. That's what Magnus had.
I think Aronian is basically very unhappy with his position. That's what I feel. Like he just doesn't he's just like playing, I feel. Because
no, but this a4 move is basically like, taking a handcuff and locking it in your own hand and saying, okay, come hit me. That's
oh my
exactly
God, Sri, what how you got this idea?
we are getting a lot of PG-13 content today.
How you're getting these ideas?
Oh my God. So rook a g1 on the board, and actually knight f1, even knight f1 is fine next move.
Maybe he wants to play g6 and then pretend that's safe and start to play king e8 d8 and so on the queen side.
But when you play g6, I understand. But when you play g6, you also create a hook, right? And then I can just play h5 and knight h4.
Yeah.
So I can just use it to... I mean, basically, white has such a free hand here, and whatever black does is only going to benefit white more.
Yeah.
Oh, so he wants to play knight h6 and knight g4 now. I think that's what he's trying.
But after knight g5, you cannot, or any knight move, you cannot get on
Yeah, the
g4.
problem with knight g5 is you're blocking your own g file. Yeah, you don't want.
Yeah, then knight e1 maybe.
But h5, knight h6, and now knight g5, you're anyway taking control.
Maybe
of
knight h4 3 here.
Yeah, knight h4 is also knight h4 is also a very nice idea. Yeah, probably better than knight g5. And now again, white gets a free hand on the king side, a completely free passage, and big advantage. Meanwhile, guys, thank you so much for coming here, and again, do like the stream, and again, a big thanks to Chess24 for making this tournament happen. So many Indian players and such amazing performance by Arjun. Amazing hard work and investment by Chess24 in making this happen. This couldn't have happened without them. So also do subscribe to the Chess24 India channel while you're here, and do like the stream there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. This is something new. He ended thank you in the end.
Yes, president speech.
You're improving your speeches.
Hey, let's guess white's move. Now it's fun, I think, this position. So he's played knight g5, so one chance gone. Let's guess white's moves, chat. How will you play? And we'll also guess along with you.
Yeah, so rook a6 just played by black. Let's see how white finishes off here.
Knight f1. So he wants to go to h2, f3 and h4 with the knight, is my guess.
Awesome, Soumya. I think you're bang on target here. Knight f1, it opens a passage for the knight, and it also opens up the g file for the rooks. Knight f1. Powerful move with double purpose. Multi-purpose.
But you know what? This could not, like, black could not stop white to doing this, right? All this maneuvering and double the rooks and everything. But imagine just the pawn is on a5. That's additional thing that Magnus has to keep in mind, that maybe at some position there will be b4 and some breakthrough on the queen side. That's why it is such a shock for me to see Aronian playing this a4 move and just killing all the possible counterplay on the queen side.
Absolutely, exactly. Like there is nothing that white needs to worry about now. I was even thinking now he's played knight e3, he can play king f1, queen e1 and queen g3 as well. Or he can make the Alekhine battery. You know, the Alekhine battery is when the rook, the queen and the rooks are on the same file, but the rook is in front of the queen and the queen is in front of the other rook. So he can make like rook g3, queen g2 and rook g1. And I think that's what he's going to go for. He's played bishop e3, bishop f3 now. He could play something like king e1 next and then rook g3 and queen g2.
You're just having fun with this question, no, Soumya? Like a full reign for your creativity.
This is a lot of fun. This position is very nice to explain concepts actually. Like knight e6 is coming in. Basically, you take the pawn which keeps all of black's position together. You just take it and then you go bishop d5 as well. I mean, there are so many nice concepts and we can explain them, all of them in one position itself.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there can be also knight e6 idea, knight e6, rook e6, and then knight d5 or bishop d5. Black has to watch out that two sacrifices on e6 and on d5.
And this is basically possible because Black played this move a4 on the 23rd move. It was this position, and he had this option of b4 with counterplay, you know, opening some files on the other side. But he played a4, which is an incredibly surprising move. It's almost suicidal because it just seals away Black's counterplay completely. And there's only one side now. Black has very limited space. So it's a bit like that Game of Thrones when that Edmund Tully opens up the siege for the Freys and the Lannisters. You know, it makes it that one-sided. You just open the door, you just open the gate and the enemy forces come in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're a big fan of Game of Thrones, right?
Did you get the reference?
I don't remember, like final battle or where?
You know, there was a point when the Tullys, they were holding River Run and the Freys they were having a siege at River Run. They were trying to break into it and they were not able to do it. And then Jaime Lannister comes in and he takes Edmund Tully hostage and forces him to open the gate of the River Run. And then they just storm into it and the Freys take River Run. So that is the sequence. So Aronian's move with a4, it's like there is a siege outside with a huge army and he's just going and opening the gates and asking, come in.
Yeah.
The a4 is equivalent to that. And I just don't understand why Aronian played this move. There's no rational explanation.
That's a mystery for me too.
No, I actually think that he just stopped believing in his position and he just kind of like, it's the kind of position which you probably don't want to play. Like he just was suffering so much that he just decided,
you
could suffer with the pawn on a5, right? Like no one steals that from you. You're anyway suffering with this position, but still have this chance to break through. Like you're just taking it away from yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing when your opponent takes away this kind of opportunities, but when you do it by yourself, it's just there is something really, really deep in that Aronian is thinking here. Like maybe he can hold this position on the king side, and he was afraid some breakthrough from white, like a4 or something at some point.
But why is Magnus also not making this battery like with rook g3 and queen g2? Because I think the point is that after rook g3, queen g2, if you move your knight, he simply moves his bishop and now he protects g7 with his queen and rook. And knight h7 sacrifice might not work because rook h7 and rook g7 and rook into g7.
You're talking about knight h7 when?
Like after we make this battery on the g file.
Okay, so I'm just putting it for illustration. Yeah.
So this kind of stuff might not work because he just takes it And then after queen into g7, king e8, and all of black's pieces are defended actually. So maybe that's the reason white is also taking his time and not going for something direct. But let's try to find some plan maybe for white, because Magnus is down to 1 minute, by the way. Yeah, he doesn't have much time on his clock.
Yeah, he's down to 1 minute, but if I had to guess, he's probably calculating his way to the end of this variation, and maybe he doesn't find anything concrete yet. But in any case, he can just play these moves very quickly.
So he's taken knight d5 and e6. Oh,
okay, got it. You also found it, yeah, Katie?
Yeah.
No, not yet. I'm getting there. So after e6, bishop takes e6 and rook e1.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And just double on the e5 line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow the bar drops down, right? Little bit. The bar.
Yeah, it goes from like +5 to +4. But I think that's okay, no?
That's okay.
You don't mind that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Rahul Kant is like, what's a battery and is it rechargeable? Very funny, Rahul. But maybe we can show the concept of a battery. A battery is when you line up your pieces in a line, like in a file or a rank or on a diagonal. That is called as a battery, because all of your pieces point at the same thing. So even the queen and the bishop, as Srinath is making these arrows, even the queen and the bishop are on a battery, and the rook and the queen and the rook are in a battery. And if the rook was on f2 and rook was on h2, then that would also be a battery. Yeah. So all of them attack at the same point with full force.
Yeah, with full force.
It's Alohengan, I guess.
Alekhine.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Alohengan.
Really?
Yeah, right. Alekhine, yeah.
No, yeah, I always called him Alekhine. I mean, not that I ever met him, but
I have this influence from Russian.
Yeah.
In Russian, it's Alekhin.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
But it makes sense because he was German, no? So Khan
was
is a German.
He was Russian.
Khan was Russian.
Yes, he was Russian. He migrated to Germany, and that's the.
He migrated.
That's the conspiracy behind his death. That
today's stream might get privated, guys. Like we have discussed so many things.
Checking right now.
No, not to make you conscious. We are free to discuss. Yes, please tell us.
Alexander Alekhin was a Russian and French chess player. French and Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he migrated to France. Yes.
Was born in Moscow, Russia, but migrated
and died in Portugal.
Meanwhile, guys, the battering ram of white's rooks have entered into the black's camp. It's a bit like playing Age of Empires 2 now, battering rams and trebuchets. I don't know if you played it, but the opposition used to have castles in this Age of Empires, and then you used a trebuchet to demolish them, and you also had battering rams. So these rooks are like battering rams in this position, and queen g6 and e6 coming in. Black's castle is crumbling. Black's position is under fire. The town bell is ringing. The villagers have nowhere to go. They're all hiding inside the castle, but not for long. One more knight gets taken, and now these pawns will take over. They will advance f5, e6, queen g7 check. All these moves coming in. Black has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's like this 1b3 situation.
I have to say it once in a while.
We have to mention B3 and Catalan. It's like a compulsory part of the contract, Keti. Otherwise the stream cannot end or begin unless we mention these two.
That I had a desk where I was marking and counting how many times Adiban was saying B3.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot. I gave up in the end. It was a lot.
After a point, you stop counting. Yeah, stop the count. Hashtag stop the count. So F5 on the board, and Magnus enjoying himself. I think Aronian will be relieved once this game is over, so that he can fight tomorrow. Because yeah, it is very, very. Like all his pieces have not left the third rank actually in this game.
Aronian has had really and is having really tough matches. Today he's facing world number 1, so hard to compete him, right?
Of course,
and yesterday, and the previous match, like you have youngest opponent, and you don't know what to expect from him. Like you don't know what he plays. So I think Aronian is in the strange situation at this tournament with these pairings.
Arjun has been referred to as the faceless boy by some people. That's another Game of Thrones Game of Thrones reference.
So how is King D1 here? Is this any good? King D1 or King just with the idea to play Rook E1?
Yeah, King D1, right?
Yeah.
King D8?
King F7 maybe, yeah? King D1, King F7.
So King F7, I thought it runs into some Queen G6 check.
Oh, Queen G6 immediately, sorry. Yeah, so King D8. And then I play Rook E1 and you play Queen F6, is it?
I didn't look so far. I thought I'll survive for one move and then take it.
No, because I have Rook E6 coming in. I mean, okay, he plays F6. Okay, he plays F6. But now the Queen...
King goes and hides on A2, no?
But Queens get traded. But okay, this is also winning.
Queen E4 check. Oh, I don't think Magnus saw this. I'm sure he missed this.
But this is also winning because the B5 pawn hangs, no, in the end. And
but I think it's not as comfortably winning as it was, no? I mean, it was so comfortably winning.
There was probably checkmate, actually. Otherwise, or the queen, White would have won the queen or given checkmate after
also, the time he's taking for this, he clearly did not expect this. And this is a very unexpected turnaround to recover from. It's amazing. It's amazing, how people make mistakes in such winning positions.
Yeah. 5 seconds. He has to make a move. But was there King C2 better move?
Is Rook H1, Rook H6 is coming now, no?
Sorry, Katie, I didn't get your question.
So King C2 here makes any difference or not?
Yeah, no,
Queen
the thing is King C2, he just gives his check.
Yeah.
So he just repeats it.
In the present position, can't he play Rook H6?
Rook H6, yeah, he can play Rook H6. I'm not even sure if Magnus is winning anymore.
Because, after Rook E1, King F7, Rook E4, I play King F6. I don't allow you to come to the 5th rank. And I then play Rook H5 and take
the thing is, I think Rook H6, White starts bringing his king, King C2.
And King F7, King E3, King F6, King E3, King E5. I hope you're
Rook
making
H4
arrows.
now.
Otherwise, this will sound alien.
The
and King D5 now, then King F4 you want, right?
Yeah.
Maybe King F5 instead?
Rook F4 check.
Yeah, this is very nice.
I think this is the reason why Aronian started with King F7. He didn't go Rook H6. He started with King F7. I think it's a very accurate move because if you start with Rook H6, you are just wasting a tempo. Whereas King F7, it's not like this pawn is going to Queen. So he takes this first, and then after King C1, he stops the White King from coming in. Wow, this is an unbelievable turnaround from a position.
Can't believe it.
From an non-winnable position.
Yeah. You guys, this A4 move draws the game?
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Seriously.
The pawn endgame is winning for white, right? So black will not trade the rooks. Maybe rook d3?
You mean this one, yeah? Because this is an outside passer. So by the time...
rook d3 is very nice. Keti suggested rook d3 actually. It's very, very nice.
Yeah. This is a very, very nice move.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Aronian will make a draw in this game. And oh my God, I can now forgive myself for a lot of sins that I have committed over the board. Like really, like my drawn and lost games will haunt me a little less. I don't mean to be like
you have
really,
to write down this. You have to write down this, and put the
Yes, that is
sticker on
true.
the wall.
Hey, guys, stop the press, stop the press, stop the press.
What?
Stop the press.
Is this King Pawn endgame winning, by the way, after H8? Okay, he has not played that. He has played King D2.
King H8.
But it is coming, no? It is coming like Rook into B5, King into H7, Rook B4.
Oh
And,
no. Oh no.
Both these pawns are lost because
What
after
happened?
Rook
Like
into C4, Rook B8, Rook B4. No, I'll tell you what happened.
What happened? Rook E8, was it the mistake or?
Yeah,
What was
Rook
the
E8 was the
mistake?
mistake. He shouldn't have allowed the king to E2. That was a big mistake. He should have maintained this rook on D8. And this was the game, yeah? King G7, Rook H5. Yeah, at this point, he should have just advanced E3. This was important. Because he played Rook E8.
or
which
King
was,
H8 even here.
King H8, I think I'm not sure if King H8 is also drawing because now takes King into H7 and Rook E5 and White will be a pawn up.
Yeah. Okay.
So E3 is I think important because E3 you're threatening this E2 and Rook D1 check. It's a very dangerous threat. So White has to play Rook E5, King into H7, Rook into E3. And here Black holds with Rook D5, not allowing the king and also defending the pawn. Instead, he played Rook E8, which allows the king to E2. This stops the pawn. And here it's just hopeless for Black. King H8, he just takes both the pawns. And after Rook into C4, after Rook into C4, Black played Rook 8, but he had to give up the E3 pawn. And now this is just 2 pawns up and an elementary winning position for White. If he takes this, then White just outflanks and then takes the king to B4 from where his pawn is lost by the fools.
I feel really bad for Levon, because he had he had a huge suffering in this game and he almost managed to save it. And what a pity.
Yeah.
Actually,
I feel the same for Aronian. Because it's so hard. It's so hard after such a strong attack. You survived. Then you have equal position. That's equal. But somehow you're so tired that you are missing some opportunities.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. I think they're so tired that it becomes the schedule takes a toll. And, once I read a very nice quote by Levon that when he draws a losing position, when he manages to save a losing position, he feels like he gained 1 point and not half. That is how he feels about saving that game. And if only he could have done that. He almost managed in this game when we were all writing him off, like at least I was, and he managed to save it and then to lose it. It's such a pity.
Do we have frozen Magnus on the screen, or he's too surprised?
Yeah, he is. He's frozen.
He's frozen, yeah. He's frozen, but I think that's a very appropriate expression for this game. That bemused expression,
Yeah.
A mixture of relief there and happiness and delight.
Yeah.
But I think mainly relief and probably a bit of anger as well at how he messed up an unmessable position.
Wow. So that brings us to the end of the first day of the semi-final where Ding Liren won against Artemiev Vladislav, and Magnus, after losing the first game, came back to actually win the match. He won the second game and he won this fourth one. The third game was a draw. So both Artemiev and Levon Aronian have the tough task of winning tomorrow to equalize the match and force tiebreaks.
Exactly, but this is not big gap into the results. So both two players can easily manage to come back or even tie the match and then get to the tie breaks where everything can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So do join us tomorrow as well at the same time for the day 2 of the semifinals of the Goldmoney Asian Rapid, which is part of the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour. And do hit that like button and subscribe to Chess24 India if you haven't.
Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
I think there's some issue. We probably
Producer is
Stream
gone.
is still going on. Stream is still going on.
Yeah. We're still
Producer on vacation.
Okay, we are still here because I'm pretty sure needs to end the stream.
I was happy that camera was not. It was on you, so yes, I was like, oh, good.
So, okay, Keti, before we end, I want to ask you, which was your favorite game of the day today?
I think
Maybe
this
chat
one
can
was,
also tell us.
Yeah, I think this one was very, very, very strange game and emotional game. I somehow feel a bit pain in my body with the events that happened in this game. But very nice for us commentators and the viewers. We just love to see some dramas.
Uh-huh. Okay. For me, Ding Lijian's game was also nice, even though I only came in the end. I got disconnected in between, but I really liked the way he managed in that King's Indian attack game against Artemiev. I thought he played excellently in the opening as well, and then he managed to outplay him. And of course, this game was a pleasure, but then after a point, it became a shock. Yeah, I mean, we were completely shocked at how it turned around, and then it turned around again, and yeah, lots of drama.
It's not it ironic that the pawn is still on a4? This is the last survival.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. So I think we are not ending the stream, guys. You can also stay with us. This is hilarious. What if we don't end the stream and just go and have our dinner and come back?
No, Tanmay will be so disappointed. Yeah, he so badly wanted to listen to what we speak after the stream ends. So maybe we should do that sometime. Just forget to.
Yeah, this is basically what we speak about. Also, it's always really nice when Vidit joins us because we get to see the insights of a player who's actually played in this tour, which is something we rarely get to see. So that's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Vidit gives these such unique insights, which is otherwise not easy to get from anyone else. I mean, he's been part of the Champion Chess Tour for so many tournaments. So he's kind of irreplaceable in that sense. And of course, apart from everything, he's with it. And we all love him so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's try again, Soumya. So thank you all for tuning in. And do like the stream and subscribe to Chess24 India if you haven't. Thank you.
This is second try to end the stream, right?
Yes, take two.
Bye-bye, chat. Take care. Now I think we are going for real, but you never know. Let's see.
Thank you.